session is based on English curriculum orientation program of grade 10. We know that grade 10 English is going to be implemented from this year, from this academic year, from this session. So this curriculum was already prepared, but the textbook has been published, and you might have already textbook, and you might have also seen the curriculum of grade 10 English as well. So actually, we find the curriculum of grade 9 and 10 in the combined book form, because we know that the system of actually getting the curriculum is that we get the curriculum of grade 1 to 3 in one volume. We get the curriculum of grade 4 and 5 in another volume. We get the curriculum of grade 6, 7, and 8 in another volume. And we have got the curriculum of grade 9 and 10 in one volume. And similarly, we have got separate volume for curriculum 11 and 12. So this is based on curriculum 9 and 10. And we are basically focusing on English curriculum of grade 9 because, 10, because grade 9 was implemented last year, and you are teaching the course book based on the same curriculum. That's why we'll focus on the same one here. Yes. Yeah. Actually, we have been involved in teaching. We are the teachers. So I love all of the participants because you have selected teaching as the career, because teaching, so many people do not like to be the teachers, but you have loved to be the teachers. That's why I have huge respect to all the participants here. Being we are in the same family, being we are in the same actually group, we are in the same party, that is teachers party here. So there is one slogan that teach for learning and learn for teaching. It means teaching and learning, they go side by side, because we learn for teaching and we teach for learning, because we are in this profession. And now, if we have to talk about this situation, we are actually physically distanced. We are in different parts of the country. We are spiritually connected because we have got the sense of spiritualism, that we all are the teachers, and we are intellectually engaged because we are focusing on the content delivery of curriculum orientation here. So this is simply the situation. If I have to talk about my academic position, so you can see in this way. And if you want to find out me in the website, you can find me in ORCID ID, Google Scholar, ERIC, Semantic Scholar, Academia, and so there is recent publication, Scopus publication, the last one. Anyway, I have been involved in those types of the actually research activities as well. Similarly, these are some articles if you are interested to read, because you might conduct action research as well, right? And this might be helpful also, though they are not the action research actually. They are found, they can be downloaded from actually Google. And since I have been involved in actually ELT materials production, and these are some of the materials that I have produced up to now. There is one book, Modern English Grammar, based on new curriculum for grade 9 and 10. So we are talking about the grammatical portion that is given in the actually curriculum, and it is also reflected here. Then these are some other books that I have developed to be the as co-authors, and these are the pictures of some of the books that I have developed so far. Now, today's presentation highlights. Actually, we are focusing on this SEWS, curriculum framework, curriculum syllabus and course book, English curriculum in Nepal, features of grade 10 English curriculum, contents which are covered at grade 10 English curriculum, learning activities means methods, techniques, and activities that are to be followed while implementing the curriculum, and assessment system. And finally, we will talk about test specification grid based on this curriculum. These are the presentation highlights for today's session. So we are familiar with this concept regarding the elements of curriculum, right? So we have certain curriculum framework, because curriculum has 4 elements basically: goals and objectives, contents, teaching learning activities means here method, and evaluation. So they are interrelated, as you can see from the arrows which I have seen in the diagram also. You can see that we have got a whole part relationship between curriculum, syllabus, and course book in this way, because curriculum is the broader concept. It is the inclusive term. within curriculum, we have syllabus, right? So we are simply talking about English syllabus here. And within the syllabus, we develop the course book. So the course book of grade 10 is already published, so that you might have got that textbook also. And all the matters which are given in the curriculum and which are given in the syllabus are actually reflected in the course book or the textbook. So this is the relationship between curriculum, syllabus, and course book that you see in the field of education actually. Now, when we talk about the learning theories, because whenever we talk about syllabus, curriculum, right, course book, and this is especially for learning, then in the case of learning, there are different theories which have been developed in course of time, but there has been some paradigm shift in the learning theories as well. Because first, there was the development of behaviorism. So you have studied the behaviorist learning theories developed by Watson, Pavlov, Skinner, which indicates that learning is a response to the environmental history. Actually, learning is a matter of habit formation, so that there is drilling, practice, repetition, pattern practice, right? So there is some kind of exercise. So this is what is applied in the case of teaching learning activities as well. And against behaviorism, we have cognitivism developed by especially Mortimer, Asubel, Bandura, and which says that learning is a process of acquiring information by understanding the situation as a whole, not as a part. Behaviorism takes something as a part. Cognitivism takes something as a holistic matter. So with the help of which there can be sudden learning. Similarly, against the same one, we have constructivism developed by Piaget and Vygotsky, and which says that learning is a process of getting ideas through interaction and through interaction with others and with the help of some experiences. Cognitivism is the latest theory developed by George Simons in 2004, which says that knowledge is out there. I mean, knowledge in the society. We can simply go to the society, we can collect the ideas, and we can form ideas in our mind so that we can have connection with the social issues, social matters, and we can have creativity. In this way, such learning theories have been developed in psychology, and they are also reflected in our curriculum, from behaviorism to cognitivism to constructivism to connectivism. So as a theoretical matter, right? Then why is there change in curriculum? Because curriculum changes in course of time, and every 5-year curriculum might be changed. Every year curriculum might be changed in some countries as well, and every 10-year curriculum might be changed. There are different factors behind that. We can see if there is socio-political change, curriculum changes. When there is philosophical change, curriculum changes. When there is change in the worldview, means how we perceive the world, then there might be the influence of this thing in curriculum also. If there is change in approach, method, technique, curriculum changes. Because of technological change, again, there is the influence of this thing in curriculum change. And knowledge explosion is one of the main factor because of which curriculum changes, because we have to incorporate new knowledge, new ideas, new concept, new data, new theory into the mainstream education. That's why curriculum changes, because of research and innovation. We have knowledge explosion. So there is no limitation of the knowledge. Every time we have to update our knowledge. Every time we have to source different, let's say, website which are reliable only, and we have to interact with our friends. We have to take part in the conferences, seminars, right, workshops also, so that we can have the sharing of the ideas. In this way, we can gain knowledge, we can update knowledge. And because of need also, curriculum changes. Because of international influence also, curriculum changes. So these are some of the factors because of which curriculum of any country changes. And the same is the case with our country also, in the case of our country also, right? Now, so if we talk about English curriculum in the case of Nepal, we see this type of the change. So at the beginning, when English curriculum was actually implemented in the context of our country, basically traditional method, means grammar translation method, was adopted in the textbook. Then structural approach was adopted. Then functional approach was adopted. Now, integrated approach has been adopted regarding the English curriculum of our country from grade 1 to 12. So integrated approach means everything is integrated, right? So listening, speaking, reading, writing, vocabulary, grammar, language functions, pronunciation, they are not taught separately, right? So two or more than two concepts, language skills, right? Language aspects are actually integrated. So when it is listening, we also teach speaking. When it is reading, we also teach writing, right? So they can't be taught separately. I mean, they are integrated, and literature can't be taught separately. right? So contemporary issues can't be taught separately. Actually, literary texts as well as non-literary texts are also integrated. In this sense, our present curriculum, which is implemented now, and in the case of grade 5, 8, and 10, it is going to be implemented from this session, right? So it is based on integrated approach to language teaching. Now, if we talk about language teaching trends in the context of the world as well as Nepal, we can see in this way. So first there was classical method, classical in the sense that there are no method before this time, so that we call that classical one. Latin and Greek languages are taught in this way. Then there was the appearance of existence of grammar translation method during 1940s and 1840s and 1940s. Against the same method, there was the development of audiolingual method. So between 1940s and 1970s, so this method existed. PPP as a technique, that is presentation, production, and practice, is based on the concept of audiolingualism. It is a technique also, right? So drilling, pattern practice, structuralism, let's say behaviorism. When you say so, we are also talking about audiolingualism. Then against the same one, there was the development of communicative approach to language teaching. It existed between 1970s to 1990s, and it simply stressed, right? So we have to follow monolingualism. We have to practice only the English culture. If we talk about only English language, right? And other languages are not to be used in the classroom. So there should be fluency as well as let's say accuracy, right? Appropriacy in the case of using the language. Then other cultures are actually erased. If we follow communicative approach, then other cultures, other languages are actually erased, because it basically focuses on only English culture, native speakerism. So it says that only the native English teachers are the best teachers. Now, and it says that the same method can be used in all the contexts now, which is not true. And its basic aim is that the learners to develop communicative competence. Now we are not using this one because this was used at one time. Now we are using CLIL, content and language integrated learning. We also call this content-based instruction, right? This is the latest approach, right? I mean, the present curriculum is based on the principle of CLIL approach, content and language integrated learning. I mean, content and language are taught together, right? So which is language, which is content. Just like content can be about geography, history, or mathematical case might also be there. Literary text might be there, or non-literary text might be there, or any kind of the text might be there. That is text, that is content. And which is type content with the help of English. So which is called nowadays CLIL, content and language integrated learning, or we call that English medium instruction as well. This is an academic approach. Now present curriculum is based on the same approach, that is content and language integrated learning. We also follow principled eclecticism, because there is no best method. Any method can be based on when the teachers find the method suitable in their own context. That's why we can't say that this is the best method. We can't say that that is the best method. We can't say that this is the best technique, that is the best activity. We can't say. So any technique, any method, any activity can be best when that is suitable in my own context, because every teacher knows his or her context of teaching, right? Others can't say that, oh, you have to follow only this method, that method. Nobody can say so, because teachers are the autonomous bodies actually. That's why you are expert in your own field, because you know the context wherever you are teaching actually. So you can teach what you can select whatever technique you find suitable in your context. You can select whatever material is suitable in your context, right? Then because of this, we also have the practice of critical pedagogy. In the case of critical pedagogy, we have the concept of learning, unlearning, relearning. Now, so the whatever matter we have learned, it might be, let's say, outdated after some time. Then we have to unlearn that matter. We have to delete that concept. Then we have to relearn. Just like before some years, we had the concept that there are 8 parts of speech. Now it became outdated because there are 9 parts of speech. That's why we have to relearn in this way. Similarly, reflection and evaluation. This concept is based on Paulo Freire's pedagogy of the oppressed. These things are applied in the field of English language teaching as well. Now, I told you that present curriculum is based on content and language integrated learning. That's why we should get some ideas regarding what kind of approach is called CLIL, because this is the latest approach, this is the recent approach. It came against communicative approach, right? So this term, CLIL term, was created in 1994 by David Marsh from Europe as a method similar to content-based instruction. Means we have to teach content. Content can be any kind of the text. The text can be from geography, the text can be from sociology, the text can be from, let's say, economics, or the text can be from history, or there might be any kind of the text. But we have to teach that text in English. That is what we call content-based instruction, or the ideas of CLIL and content-based instruction are actually similar, though names are, they are different only by name, right? So that content and language integrated learning is a dual focus education approach, because we teach any content with additional language. Here additional language means, for our purpose, this is English actually. Now this approach has been used while implementing the present curriculum, and Do Quails has given 4 principles of content and language integrated learning approach. They are content, we have to teach content means subject, themes, cross curricular approaches. Cognition, our thinking mechanism. Communication, because we have to communicate in our society by understanding the content, right, using the English language. Then culture, and we should have intercultural awareness. So if you see the diagram here, culture is at the center of teaching English language, because everything is based on culture. Based on culture we have communication, based on culture we get content, based on culture we have cognition, right? That's why culture is at the center of English language teaching nowadays, because there everything is cultural concept, everything is the cultural matter. So how can we see the culture? Culture can be in our belief system, our perspective. Culture can be in the product or in things, and actually culture can be in practices. Whatever practice we have in a certain society, community, that is cultural matter. Whatever items, product we have, just like clothing, food item, or some other things, these are the products, that is cultural matter, right? And whatever perception we have about something, it is shaped by culture. That's why culture is at the center. Then if we see that other people should respect our culture, we have to respect their culture, we have to value their culture. So this is what we call intercultural awareness. And if we develop this sense in the learners, we say that learners have developed intercultural competence. Now the main purpose of teaching language at present is to develop intercultural competence in the learners. This is the main purpose of teaching English regarding the new curriculum, right? That's why we should be clear about what is CLIL approach, because the same approach is followed in our recent curriculum, right? Because the curriculum has been revised, it has been changed. Now there is the reflection of the same curriculum in our present course. You might be familiar with the concept of post method pedagogy. So Kumara Vadivalu says that there is no final method, there is no perfect method. Because of dissatisfaction with the methods, that we need to follow alternative methods. Then what is the best method here? No method is the best method. Any method can be best one whenever it is suitable for the teacher in the local context. That's why Kumara Vadivalu or post method pedagogy focuses on 3 P's. 3 P's means particularity, what is particular; practicality, what is practicable; possibility means what is possible. That can be the best method, right? So that teacher autonomy, it focuses on teacher autonomy. Teachers are the autonomous bodies in the societies, right? So nobody can dominate the teachers. Teachers have that kind of the power, right? Nobody can say that, oh, you have to do this, you should not do that. Nobody can say, because teachers are autonomous people. And whenever we teach the language, it must be context sensitive. We have to consider the culture and theory and practice. Now these are 2 things which are interrelated. From theory we can practice, and with the help of the practice we can generate theory. That's why they are interrelated matters. Sometimes we blindly follow the theory in practice, and then we have some practices. With the help of some practices we generate theory. In this way, actually Western people do some practices using the language, and they create theories. We follow those theories. We are the blind supporters, blind followers of the theories. Actually, theory can be applied in practice, or with the help of the practice, we can generate the theory. They go in this way. So both ways should be used. Then principled pragmatism means whatever is actually practicable, whatever can be suitable in the context, in any context, that can be used, right, as the teaching learning activity or method or technique or material. So this is what post method pedagogy says because of postmodernism. Yes. Now you can see we can see paradigm shift in competence. The concept of competence has been changed in course of time. Yeah, in the slide you can see that competence has been changed because when the concept of competence was developed for the first time in 1957, Nam Chomsky developed the concept of linguistic competence, means being perfect in the use of the mother tongue of any learner, so that native speakers are actually, they have got the ability of understanding any kind of the sentence, listening, speaking in their mother tongue. That is linguistic competence, because they have got the perfect knowledge over the use of their mother tongue. That is linguistic competence. And again, the same, there was the appearance of communicative competence. Only grammatical competence or linguistic competence is not sufficient if we are not able to utilize those in certain context. Like we say, I can say now, good morning. In terms of linguistic competence, it is perfect. There is no problem. But communicative competence says that, oh, it is not suitable at this time. That's why context should be considered. Time should be considered. This is what Dale Heim says. And then this concept is called here communicative competence, using correct structures in terms of appropriate situations. That is communicative competence. And now, yeah, a communicative method flows communicative competence. But now we are flowing content and language integrated learning, which flows intercultural competence, the concept developed by Byram in 1997, or alternatively, it is called transcultural competence. Both mean the same one. Now, there is the reflection of this competence in our present curriculum. We are not flowing communicative competence. We are flowing intercultural competence or transcultural competence, which has 4 elements. One is awareness. We should be aware of all the changes in the society: economical change, educational change, political change, geographical change might be there, right? Or there might be any kind of the change. We should be aware of such matters. We should be aware of such issues so that we can have intercultural competence. And knowledge, we have to gain the knowledge of various matters. And it says that knowledge exists in the society, not in our mind. Knowledge is not in the book. Knowledge is not in the Google. Knowledge is in the society. We have to go to the society. We should have connection. We should have interaction with those people who live in the society. Then we can generate, we can create, we can establish, we can construct knowledge in our mind. That's why when we are in Chinese culture, we generate Chinese kind of knowledge. When we are in Tamang community, we create the knowledge in the same ways, so that context influences regarding the generation of knowledge. Skill, we should develop the skill of communication, right? Interaction and interpretation. Then attitude means we should have always positive attitude towards others' culture, so that other people can also have positive attitude towards our culture. If I think that other people should value my language, if I think that other people should value my culture, if I think that other people should value my way of my tone, my way of speaking, I have to also respect their way of speaking. I have to also respect their culture, right? Their language. This is what we call attitude. Then if learners develop intercultural competence, then they also obtain all these 4 elements. Now, this is the essence of present curriculum, right? So learners should develop intercultural competence in this way. Now, another concept that is reflected in the curriculum is that knowledge system is also changed. It has been changed in course of time. So during Gurukul education, content knowledge was sufficient. If teachers had perfect knowledge over the use of content, if they knew the content, they could be the perfect teacher. Because of the development of psychology, theories, right, instruction, evaluation like that, then pedagogical knowledge became essential. Pedagogical knowledge means how to teach. Content knowledge means what to teach, right? First, we should have content knowledge. Then we should know how to teach that, how to deliver that content, right? If we say there are 8 parts of speech, we have no clear-cut content knowledge. If we say there are 9 parts of speech, and if we know that, let's say my, his, her are not possessive pronoun, they are not possessive adjective, but they are possessive determiners, that is content knowledge. We have to update that knowledge because knowledge changes. We should not think that whatever is given in the book that was published 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 100 years ago may not be true up to now. Then pedagogical knowledge is essential. And because of the development of pedagogy, I mean technology, ICT, and technological knowledge became essential. Every teacher should have nowadays technological knowledge so that they can effectively use ICT tools while teaching the content, while teaching the subject matter that is given in the course, in the lecture curriculum here. So because of the essence, because of the value, importance of technology and knowledge, STFT has been developed. This society, this organization has been established because of this technological knowledge. That's why this is the theory developed by Mishra and Kohler in 2006. This is what we call now the TPSK model. In short form, TPSK model, we teachers should have TPSK. I mean, we should have 3 types of knowledge system. We should have technological knowledge in our mind. We should have content knowledge. We should have pedagogical knowledge. All these 3 knowledge systems are a must. Otherwise, we can't be the perfect teacher, ideal teacher, or effective teachers, right? So there is the reflection of this concept in the present curriculum. So that I have taken this thing here. Now, you can see in the diagram, you can see in the figure, globalization, localization, globalization. So globalization is the hybrid term of global and local, right? Now we are under globalization, not only under globalization. We are not only under localization, but we are under globalization, so that we have diversity. We practice diversity. Our classroom is always a diverse classroom in terms of sex, in terms of geography, in terms of culture, in terms of language, right? In terms of belief system, in terms of economy, in terms of education background. So we have diverse classroom. There is diversity in the classroom. We have to understand that. And every culture is unique. We should not dominate others' culture. If we dominate others' culture, they also dominate our culture. That's why we have no respect to each other in the society. So every culture is unique. Every culture is important. Every culture is equally valuable and can shape identity. So our identity is because of our culture. Suppose I belong to Tharu community, and if I have that culture, if I practice that culture, then I might be categorized as Tharu. If I do not follow that culture, then I have no identity. My identity is lost. That's why the present curriculum focuses on identity, so that we have to value everybody's culture. We have to value everybody's language. Then differences are the sources of innovation. If there are no differences, then if there is actually uniformity, then how can you innovate new thing then, right? And similarly, native and non-native teachers, native and non-native speakers interact because of globalization. Now, this concept, this philosophy has been reflected in the present curriculum. Now, we have paradigm shift in ELT, English language teaching. And you can see there is change in language ideology, right? So before this time, there was the use of communicative approach, which focused on monolingualism. Monolingualism means using only English, not other languages, using only authentic text. Authentic text means those texts which were produced by native speakers of English. That is monolingualism. Now this ideology has been changed. We are no longer under that ideology. We have crossed that ideology. So now we are under multiculturalism. We are under multilingualism, so that every language, every culture is equally valuable. So if there is text in that is related to any culture in any language, if that is in English, it can be equally suitable text. It can be authentic text. We say in this way. And similarly, instruction is learner centered rather than teacher centered nowadays. And we focus on process rather than product nowadays. And our teaching learning should always be contextualized. Then socio-cultural issues should be considered while actually using teaching learning activities. We have to focus on individual differences. Every individual is unique. They have got the capacity of learning in their own ways. That's why teachers should never dominate anybody else in the classroom, because they have got their own capacities. They have got their own way styles of learning. And we have to focus on holistic, integrated, and collaborative learning rather than discrete learning. There should be no competition. Competition should be discouraged. Collaboration should be encouraged, right? Isolation should be discouraged. Integration should be encouraged. Part by part teaching should be discouraged. Holistic teaching should be encouraged. This is the essence of present curriculum, right? In the case of English language teaching, meaningful learning. If learning is meaningful, it can remain in our mind for a long time, so that we should not basically focus on drilling, role learning, or parallel learning. Whole to part orientation rather than part to whole. Functional rather than structural. Learning as a lifelong process, so that we should not prepare the learners only for the exam. We have to teach for knowledge, not for examination, not for testing, right? So we should not be guided by what type of questions are asked in the examination, what is given in the grid. I have to make the learners practice the same thing. We should not have that concept, and we have to only consider that learning is a process. Learners have to gain the knowledge, right? So only examination is only the formality. So we have to value learning as a lifelong process rather than only preparing learners for examination. And we are practicing critical pedagogy, post-method pedagogy, as we already discussed, and we are following technology enhanced language learning, then CLIL, intercultural community competence. So we discussed this matter here. And in conclusion, regarding the pedagogical application of the concept of the theories of the knowledge in actually English language teaching, or in implementing present curriculum, present textbook, we see in this way: English language pedagogy should be contextually relevant. Be careful, it should be contextually relevant. So there might not be the same context in all the situation. Context of Kailali, context of Darchula, context of Ilam, context of Pokhara, context of, let's say, Bara, Parsa, let's say Butol, Jumla, Kalikot. So there is different context. That's why whatever pedagogy, whatever technique, whatever method, whatever activity we choose, it should be contextually relevant. That is one thing. So that the same method, same technique cannot be applicable in all the contexts in our country also. Our pedagogy should be socially responsive. Our pedagogy should be culturally sensitive. So this should be taken as the guiding principle while implementing the curriculum. So teachers should have TPSCK, technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge, that is TPSCK. We have to aim to develop intercultural community competence in the learners rather than only community competence, which was the belief of the previous courses only. And eclecticism, any method which is suitable should be selected. We have to focus on developing 6 C's, that is communication, criticality, collaboration. Collaboration, opposite term of collaboration is competition. Now no competition, but collaboration. Criticality, not taking something blindly, but we have to raise question, why this, why not that? We have to think beyond the box. Creativity, so creation should be focused. Then culture is, everything is guided by culture, because we are in certain culture, all people are in culture there. That's why culture should be focused in teaching. And connection, because of technology, right? Because of ICT, we have got connection with various group of people. We are connected here in this way. Now this should be reflected in the curriculum. Means the teacher should practice such matters. Remember, one size does not fit all. One size does not fit all, because of individual differences, because of geographical variation, because of, let's say, diversity. One size can never fit all. So this is the pillar of communicative approach to language teaching, because communicative approach says that one size fits all. Now it is not true. One size can never fit all. Because of this concept, there has been the development of post-method pedagogy. Means every method is dead. No method is perfect. No method is best. right? Every method can be based if it is suitable, if it is contextually relevant, if it is socially responsive, if it is culturally sensitive, then right. So every English language teacher should have now this type of feeling, this type of concept, right? Now let me focus on the present curriculum, right? यो अब हाम्रो यो वर्तमान जो करिकुलम छ अहिलेको यो 9 र 10 को यो चाहिँ नेशनल करिकुलम फ्रेमवर्क 2076 मा जुन लागू भयो नेशनल करिकुलम फ्रेमवर्क चाहिँ हो यसको मर्म अनुसारको छ। यसको मर्म अनुसार अनि चाहिँ ग्रेड 9 र 10 को पाठ्यक्रम माध्यमिक तहको शिक्षाको पाठ्यक्रम 2078 सालमा यो चाहिँ निर्माण गरियो। 79 मा चाहिँ 9 मा लागू भयो। अब 80 मा अहिले चाहिँ 10 मा लागू हुँदै गइरहेछ हैन, हुन गइरहेछ। त्यसैले हामी चाहिँ यही यसकै लागि चाहिँ यहाँ इंग्लिशको पाठ्यक्रमको चाहिँ डिस्ट्रिमिनेसन भनौं, ओरिएन्टेसन भनौं, नेपालीमा भन्यो भने प्रबोधीकरण भनौं, यसको जानकारीको लागि हामी सबैजना यहाँ चाहिँ उपस्थित भएका छौं, यसरी कनेक्सनमा आएका छौं। र यसरी हेर्दाखेरि हाम्रो के छ भने 2076 मा जब नेशनल करिकुलम फ्रेमवर्क लागू भयो त्यसैको मर्ममा रहेर यो वर्तमान पाठ्यक्रम निर्माण गरिएको छ। त्यस अनुसार सबभन्दा पहिला कक्षा 1 मा यो नयाँ पाठ्यक्रम कक्षा 1 मा परीक्षणको रूपमा निश्चित जिल्लामा लागू गरिएको थियो। यसरी कर्मशः तर कक्षा 11 मा पूर्ण रूपमा लागू गरिएको थियो, कक्षा 1 मा परीक्षणको रूपमा लागू गरिएको थियो। यसरी कर्मशः हुँदाखेरि 2080 मा आएर 5 मा 8 मा र 10 मा कार्यान्वयनमा गइरहेको छ यो चाहिँ हाम्रो नयाँ पाठ्यक्रम। अब यो 2080 देखि 1 देखि 12 सम्म पूर्ण रूपमा कार्यान्वयनमा जान्छ यो नयाँ पाठ्यक्रम है। यो पाइलटिङ भनेको चाहिँ यो चाहिँ के रे परीक्षणको रूपमा भयो अनि इम्प्लिमेन्टेसन भनेको चाहिँ कार्यान्वयनको रूपमा आयो चाहिँ अहिले। अब यो 9 र 10 को पाठ्यक्रमको कुरा गर्दाखेरि यो माध्यमिक शिक्षा पाठ्यक्रम जो 2078 को छ 9 र 10 को यसमा भएका विषयहरू चाहिँ 7 वटा विषयहरू छन्। यहाँहरूले अब 9 क्लासमा त्यो पढाइसक्नु भएको छ, त्यसैले यो चाहिँ नयाँ कुरा भन्ने भएन हैन, उही कुरा यसमा आएको छ। यस अनुसार हाम्रो चाहिँ यो नेपाली, अंग्रेजी, गणित, विज्ञान तथा प्रविधि, सामाजिक अध्ययन, ऐच्छिक प्रथम, ऐच्छिक द्वितीय गरिकन यो चाहिँ यो 9 कै ठ्याक्कै स्टाइलमा 9 र 10 को एउटा स्टाइल छ। मैले पहिला पनि भनेको थिएँ, हिजो पनि भनेको थिएँ कि 1 2 3 को एउटा स्टाइल छ, 4 र 5 को एउटा स्टाइल छ, 6 7 8 को एउटा स्टाइल छ, 9 10 एउटा स्टाइल छ अनि 11 12 एउटा स्टाइल छ। त्यसोले 9 र 10 को पाठ्यक्रम चाहिँ यो अनुसार गएको छ। पाठ्य घण्टा भयो चाहिँ क्रेडिट आवर अनि वार्षिक कार्य घण्टा कति छ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ यो यहाँहरूले 9 मा हेरिसक्नु भएको छ, त्यही कुरा यहाँ फलो भएको छ। अब so what are the features of English curriculum of grade 9 and 10? Because it is in the combined form, that's why it has certain features here. Then what are the features actually? So you can see the features which I have written here on the slide regarding grade 9 and 10 English curriculum. It is based on National Curriculum Framework 2076 BS, and it addressed socio-political situation of the country, focusing, reflecting the current needs of the learners, and it is based on actually it is contemporary issue based cross cultural reading text. अब यसमा के छ भने अहिलेको 9 10 को करिकुलम चाहिँ अंग्रेजीको कुरा गर्दाखेरि यो रिडिङ टेक्स्टहरु त्यहाँ छन् 18 वटा हैन कि 36 वटा रिडिङ टेक्स्टहरु छन्। तिनीहरु कस्ता छन्? दे आर क्रस कल्चरल, भनेको मतलब विभिन्न कल्चरका छन्। यो भन्दा पहिला त इंग्लिश कल्चर मात्रै भन्ने हुन्थ्यो। अमेरिकनले त्यो पाठ लेखेपछि त्यो मात्रै राम्रो, के रे यो बेलायतको मान्छेले लेखकले लेखेका पाठ मात्रै राम्रो हैन, इन्डियाको मान्छेले अंग्रेजीमा लेखेपछि त्यो राम्रो होइन भनिन्थ्यो, नेपालको मान्छेले अंग्रेजीमा लेखेपछि त्यो पाठ ठिक होइन भनिन्थ्यो। ऑथेन्टिक भन्ने कुरा थियो के त्यहाँ। त्यो कन्सेप्ट चिरियो, अब त्यो कन्सेप्ट हरायो, त्यो पुरानो भइसक्यो, परम्परावादी भइसक्यो त्यो। अब चाहिँ अहिले के भयो त, एनी टेक्स्ट which is in English which reflects the culture of a certain country or certain language, that can be the authentic text. त्यही नै बेस्ट टेक्स्ट हो भन्ने कुरा यहाँ अहिलेको वर्तमान पाठ्यक्रममा छ। अनि कन्टेम्पोरेरी इस्यु बेस, हाम्रो जो एउटा समसामयिक जो इस्युहरू जो छन् ती परिघटनाहरू त्योसँग सम्बन्धित टेक्स्टहरू छन्, जस्तै ग्लोबलाइजेसन, माइग्रेसन, लोकलाइजेसन, डाइभर्सिटी, हेल्थ, यस्ता यस्ता जो छ नि, यो चाहिँ हिस्ट्री हैन, यो यस्ता यस्ता जुन कुराहरू छ नि, यस्ता कुराहरूलाई त्यो थीम बनाएर थीमेटिक अप्रोच प्रयोग गरिकन नयाँ पाठ्यक्रम निर्माण गरिएको छ। अनि यसको मूल मर्म भनेको अप्रोच भनेको चाहिँ content and language integrated learning approach is the guiding principle of this new curriculum. यो नयाँ पाठ्यक्रमको गाइडिङ अप्रोच भनेको नै CLIL अप्रोच हो। यो भनेको कम्युनिकेटिभ अप्रोच भन्दा पछि आएको अप्रोच हो। यो चाहिँ अहिले वर्तमानमा जो विश्वमा चलिरहेको जो अप्रोच छ त्यो भनेको कन्टेन्ट एन्ड ल्याङ्ग्वेज इन्टिग्रेटेड लर्निङ अप्रोच हो यो चाहिँ। लेटेस्ट अप्रोच, प्रेजेन्ट रिसेन्ट अप्रोच है। अनि यसको मूल मुख्य उद्देश्य भनेको चाहिँ लर्नरहरूमा इन्टरकल्चरल कम्युनिकेटिभ कम्पिटेन्स डेभलप गर्ने भने सबै कल्चर उत्तिकै भ्यालुएबल छ, सबैका भाषा उत्तिकै भ्यालुएबल छ हो, त्यो कुरालाई रिफ्लेक्ट गर्ने गरिकन लर्नरहरूमा सो एभ्रीबडीज कल्चरलाई रेस्पेक्ट हुने खालको व्यक्तित्वहरू विकास हुनुपर्छ भन्ने मर्म यसले राखेको छ। अनि इट फोकसेस अन अ भेराइटी अफ लिटरेरी एन्ड नन लिटरेरी टेक्स्ट। यहाँ लिटरेचरका टेक्स्ट मात्रै होइन, अब कथा कविता मात्रै पढाएर हुँदैन कि नन लिटरेरी टेक्स्टहरू हैन, त्यस्ता कुराहरू पनि पढाउनुपर्छ। दुईटै कुराको यहाँ सम्मिश्रण छ अब चाहिँ। अनि क्रिटिकल थिङ्किङ, इट फोकसेस अन डेभलपिङ क्रिटिकल थिङ्किङ इन द लर्नर्स। सो लर्नर सुड थिङ्क बियोन्ड द बक्स। यो चाहिँ बियोन्ड द बक्स भनेको के हो भने यो चाहिँ यो अब जे आफूले देख्यो, जे परम्परागत रूपमा आएको छ त्यति मात्रै के अरे हो, त्योभन्दा अरू त केही पनि छैन भन्ने कुरा हामीले सोच्नु हुँदैन। त्योभन्दा बाहिर पनि संसार छ भनेर चाहिँ अलिक फरक तरिकाले, फरक धारले सोच्ने खालको हुनु पर्यो भन्ने कुरालाई भनिन्छ क्रिटिकल थिङ्किङ हुनु पर्यो। अनि क्रिएटिभिटी, यो हाम्रो अहिले वर्तमान पाठ्यक्रमको योभन्दा पहिलाको एकदम समस्या भनेको चाहिँ क्रिएटिभिटी नै भएन के, सृजनशीलता नै भएन। हरेक कुरा प्यारोल लर्निङ भयो, स्पुन फिडिङ खालको टिचिङ भयो। हामीले बालबालिकाहरूलाई चाहिँ माछा कसरी मारेर खाने भनेर सिकाएनौँ कि माछा मारेर दिउँ, ल खाऊ बाबु, खाऊ नानीहरू भन्यौँ, त्यस्तो खालको चाहिँ हामीले शिक्षा दियौँ कि त्यहाँ। मतलब सृजनशीलता भएन, त्यसको क्रिटिकल थिङ्किङ नै भएन। हामीले चाहिँ यो परीक्षामा आउँछ भन्यो, त्यही घोक भन्यो, त्यस्तैमा पढायौँ, त्यो क्रिटिकल थिङ्किङ नै भएन के त्यो हो। त्यस्तो खालको कुराहरूले गर्दा सो दिस करिकुलम ट्राइज टु एड्रेस दिस इस्युज which were the drawbacks of the previous curriculum, and as I told you that it is based on thematic approach। अब पाठहरू टेक्स्टहरू मिलाउने दुईटा तरिका हुन सक्छन्, थीमको आधारमा, लिटरेरी जानरको आधारमा। कथा कथा एक ठाउँमा, कविता कविता एक ठाउँमा राख्यो भने त्यो एउटा अप्रोच भयो। र आशय मिल्ने पाठ, एक कथा होस्, कविता होस्, उपन्यास के अरे त्यो मतलब एस्से होस् अथवा चाहिँ मानौ त्यो ड्रामा होस्, त्यसको आशय मिल्छ भने त्यसलाई एक ठाउँमा ल्याउनु भनेको थीमेटिक अप्रोच हो। यो वर्तमान पाठ्यक्रम चाहिँ it is based on thematic approach and it does not focus on monolingualism, it focuses on multilingualism, बहुल भाषावाद है। अनि diversity is taken as a resource in this curriculum and globalization, global should be adopted in the local context, local matters should be taken to the global context, that is globalization, right? And developing intercultural understanding and knowledge। अनि पेडागोजी कस्तो हुनु पर्यो, मैले पहिला बुझिसकेका चाहिँ कल्चर कन्टेक्स्चुअली एप्रोप्रिएट, सोसियली रेस्पोन्सिभ, कल्चरली सेन्सिटिभ खालको जे पेडागोजी हामी पढेको छौँ यो कुरा प्रतिबिम्बित हुने खालको हुनु पर्यो। अनि अब हामीले इभ्यालुएसन गर्ने बेलामा, मूल्याङ्कन गर्ने बेलामा वी हेभ टु फ्लो ब्लुम्स कग्निटिभ डोमेन अफ 6 लेभल्स अफ नलेज। त्यो ब्लुमले, बेन्जामिन एस ब्लुमले 6वटा लेभल जो दिएको छ नि पहिलेको परिमार्जितमा, रिमेम्बरिङ सबभन्दा तल्लो तह भयो, अन्डरस्ट्यान्डिङ त्योभन्दा 1 स्टेप माथि भयो, अप्लाइङ 3rd स्टेपमा गयो, एनालाइजिङ 4थमा गयो, इभ्यालुएटिङ 5औँमा गयो, 6औँमा क्रिएसन। योभन्दा पहिला र यसमा के फरक छ भने पहिला क्रिएसन चाहिँ 5औँमा थियो, इभ्यालुएसन 6औँमा थियो। यो तलमाथि पारेको छ, अरू सबै कन्सेप्ट चाहिँ उयो हो। अब हामीले whenever we assist the learners, whenever we evaluate the learners, right? So actually the questions should be designed, test items should be designed in such a way that there can be the reflection of all these 6 domains of knowledge as prescribed by Benjamin S. Bloom. So this is the feature, these are the features of grade 9 and 10 English curriculum. Benjamin S. Bloom has given the actually knowledge system, development of knowledge system in this way, cognition in this way, remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, creating. So you might be familiar with this concept. अब यो कोर्समा ग्रेड 10 को इंग्लिशमा के कुरा कभर भएको छ त, के कुरा समेटेको छ त भन्ने कुरा गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ सो रिडिङ, राइटिङ, लिसनिङ, स्पिकिङ, ल्याङ्ग्वेज फंक्शन्स, ग्रामर, pronunciation and vocabulary, all are integratively given there. All are focused in this present curriculum of grade 10 English. And here we should know that language functions are reflected in speaking and actually listening. But there are reading texts, 36 reading texts, which are thematic one. Writing tasks are there, and grammatical portions are also given. Pronunciation is also focused, and development of vocabulary is also focused. These are the focusing matters of grade 10 English curriculum. You can see the importance of actually vocabulary in this quotation given by Wilkins in 1972. शब्दको अर्थ शब्दको भण्डार निर्माण गर्नुपर्छ, किन गर्नुपर्छ, त्यसको महत्त्व बुझाउने गरिकन एउटा यहाँ चाहिँ के छ भने एउटा कोटेसन छ, यहाँ मैले पढेँ, यो चाहिँ यहाँबाट पढ्ने अनुमति मागे। विदाउट ग्रामर very little can be conveyed, without vocabulary nothing can be conveyed। यो विल्किनले दिएको कोटेसन हो है। यो कति सान्दर्भिक छ, यसले के जनाउँछ भने इट सोज द इम्पोर्टेन्स अफ लर्निङ भोकाबुलरी, डेभलपिङ भोकाबुलरी पावर इन द लर्नर। त्यसैले लर्नरमा भोकाबुलरी पावर भएन भने न रिडिङ गर्न सक्छ, न राइटिङ गर्न सक्छ, न लिसनिङ गर्न सक्छ, न स्पिकिङ गर्न सक्छ, केही गर्न सक्दैन। द्याट्स वाइ भोकाबुलरी पावर सुड बी डेभलप। यो डेभलप गर्नको लागि 36 वटा जो रिडिङ टेक्स्टहरू छ हाम्रो ग्रेड 10 को किताबमा, त्यसमा भएका डिफिकल्ट वर्डले सो भोकाबुलरी पावर डेभलप गर्नमा त्यसले मद्दत पुग्नेछ। त्यसो भएकोले वी हेभ टु इन्करेज द लर्नर्स टु एक्चुअली डेभलप much more vocabulary power in them so that they can use English language appropriately in terms of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. These are focused in the present curriculum. Now, if I have to talk about the competencies to be achieved after the completion of grade 9 and 10 English curriculum, we can see this one. You might have seen in the curriculum as well, so that I will not go through them because they are clearly given in the curriculum. There are 9 competencies that are to be developed in the learners after the completion of grade 9 and 10 English curriculum. They are given in the combined way. Similarly, in the case of grade 10 English only, there are certain learning outcomes for listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So 6 learning outcomes are provided, means given there. Just let me read 1 and 2. Understand the intended meaning of the text and respond accordingly. Follow standard and clearly articulated talks, announcements, and speeches. And last one, understand and follow multi-step instructions and detailed directions. So learners should be able to do so regarding the development of listening skill after the completion of grade 10 only. Similarly, there are some learning outcomes under the speaking skill. 12 learning outcomes are provided there. The first one says, express and respond to feelings such as surprise, happiness, sadness, interest, and indifferences. That is one learning outcome under speaking. And last one, the second last one, narrate stories, events, and experiences in the spoken form. Learners should be able to develop such types of the speaking abilities, right? So that these are the learning outcomes under speaking. So that should be developed by the learners, right? In the case of this one. And under reading, again, there are 10 learning outcomes that should be developed by the learners. Like the first one, understand text that consists of high frequency everyday language. The last one, read literary text for pleasure and understanding, right? So they should be able to select any literary text like poem, story, essay, or drama, novel like that, and they should read for pleasure and they should also understand. So this skill should be developed regarding reading at the end of grade 10 English curriculum. And under writing, such types of skills should develop: describe experiences, feelings, and events, write stories, letters, emails, notes, notices, advertisements, recipe, and instructions. They should be able to write such things, and write accounts of experiences, describing feelings, reactions in simple connected text, right? So they should be able to develop such kinds of the matters. Similarly, write short, descriptive, narrative, expositive, and persuasive essays. I mean, they should be able to write any kind of the essay under this level. After the completion of this one, they should be able to write such essays, interpret charts, tables, and diagrams, write short biographies, writing about oneself. So others. Autobiography means writing about oneself, biography means writing about others. Write short news articles and news stories, write short reviews of books and films, paraphrase short written text, like a poem should be paraphrased into, let's say, prose in this way, and write formal message of condolence, sympathy, and congratulation. So these are the writing learning outcomes under writing skill that should be developed at the end of grade 10 English curriculum. Now, what are the language functions which are given here? 18 language functions are given, right? So what are those 18 language functions here? Reporting statements. So learners should be able to report statements. They should be able to report questions. They should be able to report commands. And under the same, under grammar, reported speech is given for a statement, for question, for imperative sentences, right? That's why grammar and actually language function can be interrelated from this angle, in this sense, giving, withholding, and actually reporting permission, expressing condition. So we have conditional sentences. By using conditional sentences, they should be able to express condition. If you don't come, I won't go, like this one, stating condition. If it rains, the crops will be good, like that. Asking for and giving reasons. Criticizing, expressing likes, dislikes, preferences, narrating past events. Under grammar, there is the use of past tense, and past tense can be used in narrating past events in spoken form. Talking about past actions and with present significance, like this one, congratulating, comparing and contrasting, asking for and giving opinions. So these are the 18 language functions that should be developed in the learners, right, after the completion of this grade 10 English curriculum. Now, grammar. So which grammatical portion is given here? If we talk about this one, again, 18 grammatical portion, we find 18 grammatical portion here. Reported speech only for a statement, reported speech only for question, reported speech only for imperatives. They are given under language function 1, 2, and 3, right? Grammar and language function, they are interrelated matters. The use of the modal verb, especially may, can, could, will, and would only. Imperative sentences are making negative and positive. Conditional sentences, if clauses, there are four types of conditional sentences: zero conditional, one conditional, second, and third. All should be known. Present continuous tense, connectives, reason and purpose only. Modal verb should, ought to, and must again. Articles, all in the now. Present simple and passive, being and having. Past simple, past continuous, all past tenses. Present perfect and present perfect continuous. Then voice, all voices. And 18 altogether. Negation, subject verb agreement, simple, all future tenses. Connective again, although, however, in spite of, and despite, question tag. Relative clauses, yeah, be clear about relative clause. मैले एउटा अलिक कुरा क्लियर के गर्न चाहे भने रिलेटिभ क्लाउजलाई इन्ट्रोड्युस गर्नको लागि चाहिँ त्यहाँ वी मेक युज अफ रिलेटिभ ओड. 3 खालका रिलेटिभ ओडहरु प्रयोग गर्न हामी सक्छौं. एउटा रिलेटिभ प्रोनाउन, अर्को रिलेटिभ एडभर्ब, अर्को रिलेटिभ डेटर्मिनर. तर हामीले के बुझ्नु हुँदैन भने परम्परागत ग्रामर बुकहरुमा रिलेटिभ प्रोनाउन प्रयोग गरिकन रिलेटिभ क्लाउज बनाउने भन्ने कुरा किताबमा लेखेको छ, सही हो भनेर हामीले ठान्नु भएन. गुगलमा त्यही दिएको छ, त्यही सही हो भनेर ठान्नु भएन. मेरो सरले त्यही पढाउनु भएको, त्यही सही हो भनेर हामीले ठान्नु भएन. कन्सेप्टलाई चेन्ज हुन सक्छ. त्यसैले हामी के बुझ्नु पर्यो? हु, होम, व्हिच छ भने त्यो रिलेटिभ प्रोनाउन भयो, त्यसबाट हुन सक्छ. अनि व्हेन, वेयर, हाउले जोडेको छ भने त्यो रिलेटिभ प्रोनाउन भयो, सरी रिलेटिभ एडभर्ब भयो. अनि के रे हुज छ भने, अनि हुज बुक त्यस्तो त्यस्तो छ भने त्यो भनेको रिलेटिभ चाहिँ के रे डेटर्मिनर भयो. त्यसो भएकोले relative clauses are introduced with the help of relative pronoun or relative adverb or relative determiner. अब हामीले त्यो रिलेटिभ प्रोनाउन भन्ने मात्रै लेख्या हुन्छ है बुकहरुमा, त्यो कुरा ध्यान दिनु होला यहाँ, हैन? अनि त्यही कुरा ब्लाइन्डली हामीले फलो गर्नु भयो भने हामीले क्रिटिकलिटी नै भएन. हामीले थिंकिङ बियोन्ड द बक्स गरेको कुरै भएन त्यहाँ. सो वी हैव टु थिंक बियोन्ड द बक्स भनेको छ हामीले है. हो, त्यो कुरा एउटा अलिकता हामीले चाहिँ अपडेट हुनुपर्ने कुराहरु छ त्यहाँनेर. जस्तै अब हामीले चाहिँ अब सब्जेक्ट भर्ब अब्जेक्ट कुरा गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ अब राम गोज टु स्कुल, राम सब्जेक्ट भयो, गोज भर्ब भयो, टु स्कुल भने अब्जेक्ट भयो भन्ने खालको जो परम्परागत जो सोच के हाम्रो कन्सेप्ट छ, इट हैज टु बी रिफाइन्ड अब यो हामी रिफाइन गर्नु पर्यो किनभने राम सब्जेक्ट भयो गोज भयो ठिक छ टु स्कुल बनाए त अब्जेक्ट भएन त अब्जेक्ट हुनुको लागि त्यो त प्यासिभ हुनु पर्यो त्यहाँ त इन्ट्रान्जिटिभ भर्ब छ त्यो त हाम्रो के भयो त एडभर्बियल भयो यस्ता कुरा हामीले ध्यान दिनु पर्यो राम इज अ टिचर भन्यो भने राम सब्जेक्ट भयो इज भर्ब भयो अ टिचर अब्जेक्ट भनेर भन्न पाइएन त त्यहाँ किनभने इज भनेको लिङ्किङ भर्ब हो त्यसैले राम सब्जेक्ट भयो इज चाहिँ भर्ब भयो अ टिचर भनेको कम्प्लिमेन्ट भयो लिङ्किङ भर्ब छ त्यहाँ कोपुला भर्ब छ इट इज नेभर प्यासिभाइज्ड हैन दिस टिन कन्टेन्स सुगर दिस टिन कन्टेन्स टोबाको छ भने सब्जेक्ट भर्ब कम्प्लिमेन्ट भयो इट क्यान नट बी चेन्ज इन्टु प्यासिभ किनभने देयर इज नो ट्रान्जिटिभ भर्ब देयर इज नो अब्जेक्ट यस्ता कुराहरू अलिकति हामीले अपडेट हुनुपर्ने त्यो प्यासिभ भोइस बनाउँदाखेरि पनि अनि एट प्रिपोजिसन्स अल adjectives and adverbs, especially this one and question causative. So these are the grammatical parts, sections which are given in the curriculum and they are reflected in the textbook as well of a theme. Now, this curriculum is thematic. Thematic approach is followed, not the generic one. त्यो लिटरेरी जानरलाई प्रयोग गरेर त्यस्तो पोएम पोएम एक ठाउँमा राख्ने स्टाइलमा गएको छैन यो चाहिँ थीमेटिक अप्रोचमा गएकोले गर्दा थीमेटिक अप्रोचमा कथा कविता जे भए पनि त्यसको थीम आशय एउटै छ भने त्यसलाई एक ठाउँमा ल्याइन्छ दैट्स वाइ 18 themes are given first theme is current affairs and issues जस्तै हाम्रा ज्वलन्त जो विभिन्न चाहिँ परिघटनाहरू छन् विभिन्न जो मुद्दा त्यतिखेर इस्यु समस्याहरू छन् त्यहाँ योसँग सम्बन्धित दुईटा पाठहरू पहिलो हेडिङ के युनिटमा छन् फेस्टिभल्स एन्ड सेलिब्रेसन जनाउने दुईटा पाठ सेकेन्ड युनिटमा छन् हेल्थ एन्ड वेलनेस जनाउने चाहिँ दुईटा पाठहरू चाहिँ हाम्रो रिडिङ टेक्स्टहरू थर्ड युनिटमा छन् त्यसै गरी लास्टमा सो मिडिया एन्ड इन्टरटेनमेन्ट देयर आर टु रिडिङ टेक्स्ट अन्डर युनिट 18 reflecting media and entertainment. In this way, every unit contains two reading texts, so that altogether there are 36 reading texts because there are 18 units, 18 language functions are there, 18 grammatical items are there, which are given serially, respectively in each of the 18 units. Then there are two reading texts. This is how the present curriculum of grade 10 English is actually organized, right? So the curriculum is in this way, and the same thing is reflected in the course book, in the textbook. अब यसमा के अलिकता छ भने ग्रेड 1 2 3 को थीममा गएको छ, ग्रेड 9 र 10 को पनि थीममा गएको छ, ग्रेड 11 12 को पनि थीममा गएको छ, तर अलि प्रष्ट तरिकाले गएको छैन, र ग्रेड 4 देखि 5 6 7 8 प्रष्ट तरिकाले थीम नदिकन यस्तो यस्तो पाठ राख्ने भनेर अलिकति त्यहाँ ग्याप भएको छ त्यो है यो चाहिँ. अनि सो which principles of learning should be followed while implementing this curriculum. So if we talk about this one, you can see that like in other classes, so there should be fun. Learning should always be fun and engagement. Fun and engagement, right? Because if the learners are not engaged in the teaching learning activities, they can be the passive learners, means they may not learn effectively. That's why this should be actually, learners should be engaged in various kinds of the tasks, and so fun should be created with the help of the rhyme, song, games by the teachers, puzzles by the teachers in the classroom. Communicative activities should be emphasized, means the learners should be encouraged to communicate in role plays, pair work, group work, simulation, interaction, question answer, like that. Exposure should be provided in the spoken form, in the written form, in the, let's say, reading text form. And language skills integration means there, when we teach reading skill, we are also teaching writing, because writing exercise can be there after reading also. Personalization means if everything is personalized, if learners are encouraged to share their opinions, feelings, right, experiences related to the subject matter, then this learning becomes effective and meaningful. We have to focus on this one. Content and language integrated learning, this is the guiding principle of this present curriculum. Diversity should be taken as a resource rather than a problem. Learning through information and communication technology, and learner autonomy. Learners should be encouraged to learn in their own, because they might have their own styles of learning. There are individual differences. That's why teachers should encourage self-correction, peer correction, and self-learning in the classroom context. There are different methods, techniques, and activities that can be used by the teacher in their local context. So these are some possible methods, possible techniques, possible activities only. Or without using any one which are given here, teachers can use some other methods, other techniques, other activities, because every teacher is an expert. All of you are expert here, right? So that I have huge respect on you, because you know your context, I don't know your context. So if I have to go to Sindhu Palchok, I can't teach effectively because I am not familiar with the context. I am not familiar with the student's background. That's why I may not fit there. But those who are teaching in Sindhu Palchok are the best teachers. They are the expert in their local context, because learning is always contextual, teaching is always contextual, right? So that all the teachers who are teaching in different places, who are present here, are the expert in their own areas, in their own field, in their own places, right? Anyway, these are some possible activities. These are some possible techniques that can be used by the teachers, like question answer, demonstration, games, use of pictures and flashcards, pair work and group work, drills, storytelling, narrating, dictionary work. So in this way, reading, presentation, project work, think and a pair, like this one, paraphrasing, summarizing, interpreting, visual-based activities, stories, right? So these are some activities, these are some techniques, these are some methods which are prescribed by the present curriculum of grade 10 English, right? Which might be used by the teachers, or teachers might use some others without using any one of these techniques, these activities also, right? Now we are nearly at the end of the session. Assessment. How are learners assessed? How are they evaluated? So both formative and summative evaluation assessment should be used while implementing this curriculum. So certain techniques, certain activities can be used by the teacher under formative assessment, like these are some possible formative assessment techniques: observation of students' linguistic behavior, anecdotal record, work sample or written samples, interviews, home assignment, portfolio test like class test, weekly test, monthly test, project work, creative works like group discussion and journal writing. So teachers can encourage the learners to write journals, to write diaries, so that every day they can develop the habit of writing also, right? So this can be the best way of developing writing in the learners. They can remember vocabulary, they can concentrate their mind, they can think critically, right? They can, let's say, reflect themselves, they can organize the structures, and they can develop writing. That's why integratively, many things can be developed if learners are involved in journal writing. That can be one of the ways. Anyway, formative assessment can be done in any one or in different ways, like this one. So the main purpose of formative assessment is to provide feedback if there is any weakness in the part of the learners, so that they get chance of improvement, right? So there might be some improvement, because of which formative assessment should be carried out by the teachers. So they have to improve themselves. And then next type of assessment is summative assessment. In the case of summative assessment, learners do not get chance of improving their weaknesses, because there is no feedback, there is a final judgment. But it can be either internal or external. There is 25% internal assessment, 75% external assessment. In the case of internal assessment, 3 marks participation, attendance and participation in activities, 3 marks. Listening test, 8 marks. Speaking test, 8 marks. Score from terminal examination. There are 2 terminal examinations, first term, second term, 3 marks from these 2 examinations, right? 6 marks. Then total 25 marks. So this is the internal assessment. And there is final examination taken by the external bodies. In the case of grade 10, that is of 75 marks, but 3 hours. Reading, 40 marks. Writing, 24 marks. Grammar, 11 marks. And altogether 75 marks. But there are also the items related to testing vocabulary, right? So this is in the case of summative evaluation. Then what can be the test specification grid or the chart? for internal assessment as well as external assessment. So in the case of internal assessment, participation 3 marks. Participation is in the case of attendance, right, and taking part actively in different activities like project work, right, classwork, homework, like this. And every teacher should make individual record of different all the students, right, so that the teachers can actually judge accurately regarding 3 marks. जस्तै अब चाहिँ यो टिचरमा के त्यस्तो खालको एउटा इथिकल कुराहरू के रे अनइथिकल कुरा के हुनु भएन भने, जस्तै कोही विद्यार्थी अब रेगुलर आएको छैन अथवा आए तापनि उसको चाहिँ होमवर्क गर्थेन, प्रोजेक्ट वर्कमा भाग लिन्थेन, अलिकता त्यो इन्ट्रेस्ट राख्थेन, तर त्यो मेरो साथीको छोरा हो त्यसलाई बढी नम्बर दिनुपर्छ भन्ने खालको रङ कन्सेप्ट माइन्डमा भयो भने वी क्यान नेभर बी द गुड टिचर। त्यो हाम्रो इथिकल भित्र कुनै पनि टिचरको इथिकल भित्र त्यो पर्दैन। अब मलाई विश्वास छ यहाँहरूले त्यस्तो कुरा कहिले पनि यहाँ उपस्थित भएकाहरूले गर्नुहुन्न, किनभने वी अल आर द इथिकल टिचर्स हैन। त्यसो भएकोले देयर शुड बी फेयर जजमेन्ट है। अनि त्यसैले त्यो 3 मार्क्स कसरी दिने, त्यो खाली अन्दाजी नदिने भइकन, सो वी हैव टु प्रोभाइड विथ सम गाइडलाइन्स। अनि लिसनिङ टेस्ट 8 मार्क्स को भयो त्यहाँ। सो टाइप्स अफ साउन्ड फाइल, अब कस्तो खालको कुरा लिसनिङ गर्ने, सो देयर आर सम सैम्पल लिसनिङ टेक्स्ट इन मेटेरियल इन द टेक्स्ट बुक अल्सो, देयर माइट बी सम ऑडियो रेकर्डिङ अल्सो, राइट, but without using any one of those, teachers can bring audio record from outside the textbook also. त्यो जहाँबाट पनि ल्याउन सकिन्छ, दुईटा लिसनिङ टेक्स्ट ल्याउने, कुनै एउटा स्पिच, कुनै डायलग हैन, कुनै स्पिच दिएको, कुनै एउटा चाहिँ मानु रेडियो टेलिभिजनको कुराहरू ल्याउन सकिन्छ हैन। सो र हरेकमा चाहिँ चार क्वेशन पर्ने गरियो दुईटा लिसनिङ टेक्स्टहरू सुनाउने भनेको, इट क्यान बी लेक्चर, इट क्यान बी टक्स, इट क्यान बी प्रेजेन्टेसन, इट क्यान बी रेडियो टिभी ब्रोडकास्ट और एनी one of this one। अनि त्यो फाइल सुनाएर अनि 3 मिनेट जति लामो हुनुपर्ने र त्यसमा मल्टिपल चोइस, म्याचिङ आइटम, फिल इन द ब्ल्याङ्क, सर्ट एन्सर क्वेशन जस्ता क्वेशन हुनुपर्ने 20 मिनेट लगाएर लिसनिङ टेस्ट लिने एउटा विद्यार्थीलाई भन्ने छ है यसको मर्म चाहिँ। अनि अर्को स्पिकिङ टेस्ट लिने भन्ने कुरा छ त्यो 8 मार्क्स को चाहिँ। सो यसमा के छ त क्याटेगोरी हाम्रो इन्ट्रोडक्सन एन्ड इन्टरभ्यू विथ द इन्डिभिजुअल स्टुडेन्ट्स 2 मार्क्स हैन। जस्तै अब त्यो कोही विद्यार्थीलाई इन्डिभिजुअली चाहिँ मानौ कम्ती 3टा क्वेशन सोध्नु पर्यो। जस्तै हाउ आर यु प्रिपेयरिङ फर द एक्जाम, व्हाट विल यु स्टडी आफ्टर ग्रेड 10, व्हाट्स योर एम इन लाइफ, डु यु लाइक इंग्लिश, व्हाई और व्हाई नट हैन। यस्तै व्हाट डज योर फादर डु, यस्तै विभिन्न खालका कुराहरू चाहिँ सोध्न सक्छ कि उसले इन्टरभ्यूमा। सो इट क्यारिज 2 मार्क्स। अनि यस्तो बेलामा टिचर हैज टु जज हाउ दे आर स्पिकिङ, राइट। अनि डिस्क्राइबिङ पिक्चर 3 मार्क्स को चाहिँ। सो teacher can provide a picture or set of pictures and students are asked to describe the picture in at least 6 sentences. It carries 3 marks. अनि अर्को भनेको teacher should assign a given topic and students should be asked to say something on the topic. Topic can be my school, my hobby, my family, or any other topic might be there. So they will get 1 minute to think over the topic and after that they will talk, they will speak individually, right? सो यसरी अनि एउटा विद्यार्थीलाई 10 देखि 15 मिनेट लगाएर अनि स्पिकिङ टेस्ट गर्ने भन्ने कुरा छ। यो भनेको स्पिकिङ टेस्ट गर्ने इन्टरनल एसेसमेन्टमा 8 मार्क्स को लागि चाहिँ। अनि अर्को नेक्स्ट इज स्कोर फ्रम द टर्मिनल एक्जामिनेसन 3 मार्क्स फ्रम इच टर्म, राइट। सेकेन्ड टर्म फर्स्ट टर्मबाट 3 मार्क्स, सेकेन्ड टर्मबाट 3 मार्क्स गरिकन 6 मार्क्समा उसले कति पायो त्यो 20 मार्क्स को लिए पनि त्यसलाई 3 मार्क्समा कन्भर्ट गरेर अनि सो देयर शुड बी 25 मार्क्स इन्टरनल एसेसमेन्ट। एन्ड फाइनली देयर इज एक्सटर्नल एसेसमेन्ट। यो ग्रेड 10 मा त एक्सटर्नल बडीबाट यो अब एसी भएको हुनाले गर्दा अन्त एसी को अब कामै छैन। 12 सम्म माध्यमिक त भनेर आइसकेपछि 12 मा मात्रै फाइनल जाँच हुनुपर्ने हो। तर हाम्रो नेपालको सरकारले अहिलेसम्म त्यही गरिरहेछ हैन, एसी 10 मा दिइरहेछ। अब यो वास्तवमा एक्सटर्नल बडी, इट इज टेकन बाई एक्सटर्नल बडिज। इट हेज 3 hours 75 मार्क्स भए पनि 3 घण्टा यसको समय हुन्छ। अनि यसमा के छ, रिडिङ 40 मार्क्स, 2 रिडिङ प्यासेजेस शुड बी फ्रम द बुक, राइट, 1 of 5 marks, another of 10 marks. Only 2 reading passages out of the book, right? So 10, one passage 10 marks, another passage 15 marks. So the length for 10 marks should be 200 words, not more than 200 words. Length for 15 marks passage should be not more than 400 words. The type of text which you use in one should not be repeated in another one. एउटा खालको टेक्स्ट एउटामा छाने भने अर्कोमा त्यही त्यस्तै खालको टेक्स्ट पर्नु भएन देयर शुड बी भेराइटी राइट इन द टेक्स्ट अब यी टेक्स्टमा स्टोरी हुन सक्छ एडभर्टाइजमेन्ट प्रोडक्ट गाइड लेटर न्यूज स्टोरी कुनै पनि त्यस्तो खालको हुन सक्छ र क्वेशन शुड बी ट्रू फल्स फिल इन द ग्याप्स म्याचिङ आइटम अर्डरिङ मल्टिपल चोइस राइट सर्ट एन्सर क्वेशन र यिनीहरू मध्ये रिडिङ नम्बर 4 को प्यासेजमा देयर शुड बी राइट one type of test for testing vocabulary अब 4 नम्बरको चाहिँ 15 नम्बरको भयो 5 मार्क्स क्वेशन हुँदाखेरि एउटा चाहिँ एउटा 5 नम्बरको भनेको भोकाबुलरी मात्रै टेस्ट गर्ने खालको हुनु पर्यो एकातिर वर्ड दिएर अर्कोतिर मिनिङ दिएर म्याचिङ गर्ने हुन सक्छ अथवा चाहिँ सो मिनिङ दिएर सो फाइन्डिङ आउट वर्ड फ्रम द रिडिङ टेक्स्ट हुन सक्छ इन दिस वे देयर शुड बी द टेस्टिङ अफ भोकाबुलरी एज वेल फर 5 मार्क्स अनि when we ask comprehension question they should cover literal comprehension एकदम सिम्पल खालको कम्प्रिहेन्सन मात्रै गर्ने वर्डहरु त्यो हैन मतलब त्यो प्यासेजलाई बुझ्ने खालको अनि रिअर्गनाइजेसन रिअर्डरिङ हुन सक्छ अनि इन्फरेन्स क्लुको आधारमा साइनको आधारमा संकेतको आधारमा गेसिङ गर्ने कुराहरु त्यस्तो अनि इभ्यालुएसन सो ऑल दिस थिंग्स शुड बी रिफ्लेक्टेड इन द टेस्ट आइटम्स that we designed and then writing 35 marks there are actually 4 types of writing tasks right guided writing 1 paragraph description of table charts diagrams or set of instruction recipe menu or set of rules and regulation advertisement and notice 5 marks any one of this one and length of the guided writing should be about 100 words अब यदि हामीले यति शब्दमा भनेनौ भने कति लेखेपछि नम्बर दिने भन्ने कुरा अन्यल हुन्छ 500 शब्द लेखेआलाई भने कति दिने 100 लेखे कति दिने त्यो कुरामा एकरूपता ल्याउनको लागि चाहिँ we have to indicate the word limit right so in about 100 words भनेर भन्नु पर्ने हुन्छ guided writing second news story skeleton story message of condolence message of congratulation invitation letter thank you letter or biography 5 marks length again in about 100 words free writing 1 it can be a paragraph presenting a view opinion experience feeling leave application job application or dialogue actually paragraph writing on a certain topic 6 marks length is about 150 words and free writing second personal letter short essay diary newspaper article book or film review brochure leaflet 8 marks length is also in about 200 words in this way writing task should be provided here then we also have grammar is only of 11 marks such topics are to be covered under grammar article preposition tense connective question tag reported speech voice conditional sentences subject verb agreement interrogation and negation and causative verbs right so 2 types of questions are to be designed by the test makers one reproduction 5 items should be there one carrying 1 mark from tense question tag reported speech voice and interrogation negation next should be multiple choice in the contextual passage in the passage form but choice it is about articles preposition connective conditional sentences subject verb agreement and causative verb then 6 should be there and 1 carries 1 mark 6 marks in this way there is the provision of actually 11 marks grammar so this is how actually the present curriculum English curriculum grade 10 has been designed right so this is what I have to say this is what I have to deliver regarding the curriculum of grade 10 English now I completed my presentation and dear sir and ma'am wherever you are if you have anything to ask if you have anything to share you can share we have now the floor is open so the organizers the announcer will call your names one by one right then I will try to answer your questions as far as possible anyway I am also the learner so I might learn many things from you so that I am here for learning and sharing right so thank you sir
okay धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद आदरणीय सरलाई यहाँ ह्यान्ड रेजहरु भएका छन् म क्रमशः नाम लिने छु त्यो भन्दा अगाडि यहाँहरुलाई म एउटा सूचना भन्न गइरहेको छु हामीहरुले विषयगत रूपमा यो कार्यक्रमलाई निरन्तरता दिइरहेका छौं र हाम्रो कुन विषयको हुन्छ भन्ने कुरा प्रशिक्षकहरुको यकिन नभएको हुनाले हामीले राख्न सकेका छैनौँ। भोलिको क्लासमा तर हामीले कुनै न कुनै कक्षा राखेकै हुनेछौँ। भोलिको हाम्रो यो प्रशिक्षकहरू उपलब्ध नभएको अवस्थामा हामीले बीच-बीचमा कार्यक्रमहरू घुसाएका छौँ। यहाँहरू सबैलाई ध्यान दिएर सुनिदिन हार्दिक अनुरोध गरेँ। अहिले शिक्षकहरूले आफ्नो सञ्चय कोष र नागरिक अनलाइन यो नागरिक कोषलाई लगानी कोषलाई अनलाइन प्रविष्टि गर्नुपर्ने भएको छ। यस सम्बन्धी कक्षा राखिदिन धेरैले अनुरोध गर्नुभएको हुनाले हाम्रो भोलिको कक्षा यो सञ्चय कोष र नागरिक लगानी कोषको अनलाइन प्रविष्टि सम्बन्धी हुने जानकारी गराउँदै अब आफ्ना भनाइहरू आफ्ना चाहिँ जिज्ञासाहरू राख्न ललित राई ज्यूलाई म हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्दछु। अनम्युट गरेर।
सर म सुनिन्छु।
सुनिनु भएको छ सर।
Sir, I have two questions. MS Saud sir, I have two questions.
Go on.
Yeah, latest
Yes, sir.
approach is content and language integrated learning. So what are the method and techniques of this approach, and how can we, is there any specific method or techniques for the four skills, vocab and grammar teaching? And another is, we have read only in 8 part of speech: noun, pronoun, verb, adjective, adverb, preposition, conjunction, interjection, like that. What is the 9th part of speech? Please, sir.
Yes, so very interesting question, sir. Thank you. Actually, the latest approach is content and language integrated learning, or we call this content-based instruction as well. And whatever techniques we use for others, because this is based on eclecticism in the sense that it can grow the ideas from any approach, any methods, from audiolingualism, from cognitive approach, from let's say task-based learning, right, from grammar translation method, from translanguaging. So whatever activities, whatever techniques we have actually prescribed, means the curriculum has prescribed there, can be used for the implementation of this CLIL approach. And it basically focuses on teaching content. Content can be any kind of the content. As I told you, that content can be about let's say geography, content can be about history, content can be about let's say economy, content can be about philosophical concept, or any literary text or non-literary text, or biography, autobiography, advertisement, right? So any kind of the text might be there, but that text should only be taught in English, means using the language. That's why language and content, these two things are integrated, they are taught together. But whatever technique is suitable in your context, in my context, that can be used. That's why it doesn't prescribe that only this is the best technique, that is not the best technique. So there is not such way, right? That is one thing. Next thing is, but whatever technique we select, it should be contextually relevant, one thing, socially responsive, and culturally sensitive. So any technique, any method, any activity which considered these three things can be suitable and the best one. So that for listening, speaking, reading, writing, there are no particular, there are no specific so activities and techniques for this one. And next thing is, so you asked what's the second one? Oh, sorry, I know. Actually, we studied 8 parts of speech traditionally. I say traditionally. So traditionally, noun, verb, adjective, adverb, pronoun, right, conjunction, introduction, preposition, we studied only those one. And there was confusion. Where was the confusion there? Let me clarify with one example. This is my pen. Suppose there is one sentence, this is my pen. And what is the word class of my? One grammar says, traditional grammar says, there are possessive adjectives. That's why my, his, her, these are adjectives. And under pronoun, again, traditional grammar says, there is possessive, actually possessive pronoun. That's why my, his, her pronoun. So again, there is confusion. My is in one sense possessive adjective. Again, my is possessive pronoun. Which one is correct then? There is confusion. Another thing, article a and the. Article, these are also the words of English language. But what is the class of these words? There is no clear idea. Similarly, we have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 people, right? 40, actually books, then what is the class of those one? There is no provision in the traditional concept of 8 parts of speech. That's why modern grammar has added one more parts of speech or word class, that is determiner. So all articles are under determiner, all numericals are under determiner, all possessives like my, his, her are determiner. In the sentence, this is my book, my is the determiner. It is not possessive pronoun, it is not possessive adjective. There are only actually similarly demonstrative adjective, quantitative adjective. This is the traditional concept. There are no quantitative adjective, there are no possessive adjective, there are no actually numerical adjective, there are no demonstrative adjectives. These are nowadays under actually determiner here. That's why in modern grammar there are only 3 types of adjectives. One is qualitative adjectives which show quality, just like roundness, beautiful, in this way. And color adjectives which show color, red, black, like that. And classifying adjectives which classify something into different categories, like polar bear, polar, swimming pool, swimming, right? Annual examination, then annual, golden temple, then golden, such adjective, right? So the another category is then determiner. That's why we have to update our knowledge. I requested you that if we do not update our knowledge, we might still have traditional mindset. And if we have still traditional mindset, then we are not utilizing our knowledge. So we should not have blind faith that whatever is given in the book can be correct. We should not think in this way. And everything that is given in the Google may not be correct. So we have to judge what is correct, what is not correct. We have to think beyond the box, right? So I am telling you that. So there are now the 9 parts of speech or word classes. One more category is determiners. There are some types also. Yes. Any other?
Thank you so much, sir. After
Yes.
then, I heartily request Sita Sharma. Sita Sharma.
Thank you, sir. Namaste, MS sir, and everyone. I want to I want to make a request to repeat a relative clause. Sir. I traditionally we are following the traditional method to teach relative clauses. I heard from you that this is different. 3 types of clauses. What you said, I want to repeat. I want to listen to you again.
So again, it is very interesting matter. Actually, I am telling you that relative clauses are introduced with the help of some relative words. Those relative words are who, which, where, when, whom, whose. These are the relative words, but they have certain word classes. They belong to certain categories. Then what can be the classes of those words then? We have to be clear here. And traditional grammar says that these are the relative pronouns. But all the relative words are not relative pronouns. That's why we say who, whom, which, that. These are the relative pronouns. And again, we have when, where, why. These are the relative adverbs, not the relative pronouns. And they say whose, then which. And these are the relative determiners. So determiner, if we are clear about determiner, then it is clear how it is used in this way. Any word, and then after that there is noun, just like which book, whose pen, my book, the pen, a book, some books, right? Their books, 2 books. Such words are actually determiners, which determine, which limit the meaning of the noun, and they occur before the noun, right? So in the case of whose pen, there might be related clause with whose book, whose pencil, which cow. So if they are used in this way, they are relative actually determiners. And when there is the use of when, where, how, they are totally actually adverb, but relative adverbs. And when we make use of who, whom, actually which, these are actually relative pronouns. मैले भन्न खोजेको कुरा के हो भने यो रिलेटिभ क्लजमा दिने लिङ्किङ गर्न आउने जो शब्दहरू छ नि, डब्लुएच वडा ओहरू, यी सबै शब्दहरूलाई रिलेटिभ प्रोनाउन भनेको हुन्छ ट्रेडिसनल ग्रामरमा। त्यसो होइन भनेको मैले है। त्यसो नभइकन सबै शब्द रिलेटिभ प्रोनाउन होइनन्, कुनै शब्द रिलेटिभ प्रोनाउन हुन्। जस्तै हु र हमको कुरा गरेँ मैले, व्हिच पनि कुरा गरेँ। अनि कुनै शब्द रिलेटिभ एडभर्बहरू हुन्छन्, व्हिच लगाएर व्हेन लगाएर हाउ लगाएर जोडिएको छ दुईटा क्लज भने रिलेटिभ क्लज त भयो, तर ती शब्द के हुन् त भन्दाखेरि ती शब्दहरू, सो दिज वर्ड्स आर रिलेटिभ एडभर्ब। छोटकरीमा एडभर्ब भए, बट वी कल रिलेटिभ एडभर्ब। त्यसै गरी अनि मानौ होम के अरे होइन हुज र व्हिच लगाएर यदि जोडिएको छ भने त्यति बेला दे आर डेटर्मिनर भए। तर कुन चाहिँ डेटर्मिनर भयो? रिलेटिभ डेटर्मिनर भए। त्यसैले रिलेटिभ क्लजमा आउने डब्लुएच वर्ड सबै रिलेटिभ प्रोनाउन हुन् भनेको हुन्छ, त्यो चाहिँ होइन भने। द्याट इज द ट्रेडिसनल कन्सेप्ट। द कन्सेप्ट हेज बिन रिफर्म्ड इन द मोडर्न ग्रामर। वी हेभ टु अपडेट आवर नलेज इन दिस वे। अब त्यसो भए त हामीले चाहिँ मानव ग्रामर क्लासेस मेथड मात्रै ठिक भएको, अरू मेथड आउनै थिएन। कम्युनिकेटिभ अप्रोच ठिक भएको भए अहिले चाहिँ यो सिएलएल अप्रोच भन्ने आउनै थिएन। यसो भएकोले गर्दा इन कोर्स अफ टाइम knowledge also changes. There is knowledge explosion because of research studies in the world. Every day there are many research studies, and then there is some impact of those research studies in teaching learning activities also. That's why we have to incorporate the knowledge which actually exists and which is in practice in our education also. That's why we need to update in this way. त्यसैले हामीले मानौ मैले 20 वर्ष पहिला जुन ग्रामर पढेँ अथवा मेरो सर म्यामले जुन मलाई पढाउनु भयो त्यही नै ठिक हो, त्योभन्दा दायाँमा केही पनि हुँदैन भनेपछि त वी आर थिङ्किङ विदिन द बक्स मात्रै के। अब अहिले क्रिटिकल पेडागोजीले के भन्छ, वी हेभ टु थिङ्क बियोन्ड द बक्स। वाइ क्वेसन रेज गर्ने, क्रिटिकलिटी डेभलप गर्ने, के अरे क्रिएटिभिटी डेभलप गर्ने भने आउनाले गर्दा सो वी हेभ टु थिङ्क बियोन्ड द बक्स। इट मिन्स वी निड टु रिभाइज आवर नलेज, वी हेभ टु अपडेट आवर नलेज। अब हाम्रो के छ शिक्षामा लर्निङ हुन्छ, मैले केही कुरा लर्निङ गरेँ, त्यो कुरा केही बेलासम्म सही हुन्छ, पछि त्यो कुरा काम नलाग्ने भइदिन्छ, मैले त्यसलाई अनलर्निङ गर्नुपर्छ होइन, त्यसलाई हटाउनुपर्छ माइन्डबाट। अनि हटाएर के गर्ने? रिलर्निङ गर्नु पर्यो। हो अब रिलर्निङ गर्नु पर्यो केही नयाँ कुरामा भने है। जसले अब अहिले हामीले भन्दाखेरि नेपालमा 75वटा जिल्ला छन् भनेर त भयो नि त, थिए किताबमा पनि छ, लाइब्रेरीको बुकमा त्यही लेखेको छ होइन, मेरो सरले त्यही पढाउनु भएको हो। अहिले त 77 आए होइन। विश्वमा सबभन्दा बढी जनसङ्ख्या भएको देश चाइना हो भनेर मैले पढाए हो, किताबमा पनि त्यही लेखेको छ, गुगलमा पनि त्यही छ, लाइब्रेरी किताबमा पनि त्यही छ, सरले पनि त्यही भन्नुभयो। अहिले त भन्न पाइएन त होइन। एक त पहिला त्यो नलेज चेन्ज भएर अहिले भारत भन्नु पर्यो। यसैले नलेज चेन्जेस भने है। सो इन द ल्याङ्ग्वेज अल्सो सेम थिङ ह्यापन्स एन्ड वी हेभ टु अपडेट आवर नलेज। त्यसो भएकोले गर्दा एभ्रीबडी इज अ लर्नर के। आई एम अ लर्नर, यु आर अ लर्नर, एभ्री पर्सन इज अ लर्नर। हामीले त्यो डिग्री पास गर्यौँ तर हामी चाहिँ पास गरे सबै नलेज पुरा गऱ्यौँ भन्ने होइन कि वी आर द लर्नर। आई एम अलवेज द लर्नर। त्यसैले आई एम लर्निङ मेनी थिङ्स फ्रम यु। त्यही भएकोले मलाई खुसी के लाग्यो भने यहाँहरूबाट धेरै सिक्ने मौका पाएँ। यस मानेमा चाहिँ एसटिएफटीलाई मैले धन्यवाद दिनुपर्छ, किनभने यो अवसर जुटाएर यहाँहरूबाट मैले धेरै कुराहरू सिकिरहेको छु कि त्यहाँ है। धन्यवाद म्याम है।
हस्, थ्याङ्क यू सो मच एमएस साउद सर। आफ्टर देन आई हार्टली रिक्वेस्ट शङ्कर मावि जलजले, नाउ यु क्यान अनम्युट युर सेल्फ एन्ड क्यान आस्क युर क्वेरिज। शङ्कर मावि जलजले।
जलजला भन्ने गीत पनि सुनेको थिएँ।
जलजले
सर यो ठाउँको नाम।
ए कस्तो राम्रो।
हजुर नमस्कार।
नमस्ते नमस्ते।
हजुर सर्वप्रथम त म एसटिएफटीलाई धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु यो सुनौलो अवसरको लागि। यसरी हामीले सिक्ने अवसर, अब जलजले भनेको चाहिँ हाम्रो तेह्रथुममा पर्छ, यहाँबाट ट्रेनिङ सेन्टरसम्म जाने अवसर चाहिँ हामीले कमै पाउँथ्यौँ होला, तर एसटिएफटीले गर्दा अहिले घरमै कोठामै यो विविध ज्ञानहरू प्राप्त गरेको छौँ, यसको लागि धन्यवाद। Moving toward my question, Emma sir, I would like to ask you, request you to put little bit light on the principled eclecticism by Larsen Freeman and critical pedagogy, and how this teaching trend can be used in our class 10 this course. अलिकति डिटेल भयो हुन्थ्यो कि भनेर सर, अघि अलिक सर्ट भयो कि।
यो चाहिँ अब प्रिन्सिपल्ड इक्लेटिसिजम भनेर क्रिटिकल पेडागोजी भनेकै के हो भने, अनि when we follow something blindly, when we do not ask question, when we do not raise any question, when we think when we don't think beyond the box, then we are not practicing critical pedagogy, right? अनि त्यसपछि जुन मेथड चाहिँ किताबमा सिफारिस गरेको छ, जुन मानौ मैले यहाँहरूलाई भने कि यो मेथड सबभन्दा बेस्ट छ, सबैले यही प्रयोग गर्नु है भने मैले होइन, त्यसो हो भने त इलेक्टिभ प्रिन्सिपल पनि भएन हैन त्यसको मतलब के हो लेसन प्रिपेयरको भनाइ के हो भने any technique, any method, any activity that you find suitable should be adopted in your local context, but that may not be suitable in all the other contexts. त्यसो भएकोले गर्दा teachers should be the tactful people, right? They have to adopt, they have to select those techniques, those activities which are suitable in their own context, right? Which might address the needs and let's say interest of the learners. त्यो चाहिँ प्रिन्सिपल्ड इक्लेटिसिजम भयो आवश्यकता अनुसार जुन सही के अरे जुन खालको सुइटेबल विधि हुन सक्छ त्यही प्रयोग गर्ने भने हो कि म्याम है अनि अर्को चाहिँ क्रिटिकल पेडागोजी जुन छ इन द केस अफ क्रिटिकल पेडागोजी अनि वी हेभ टु थिंक बियोन्ड द बक्स राइट वी शुड हेभ रिफ्लेक्सन आवरसेल्फ वी हेभ टु इभ्यालुएट आवरसेल्फ देयर शुड बी सेल्फ इभ्यालुएसन देयर शुड बी रिफ्लेक्सन देयर शुड बी लर्निङ अगेन अनलर्निङ अगेन रिलर्निङ राइट and there should be some kind of the collaboration and there should be criticality, there should be creativity, and when all these things are developed then we are actually practicing critical pedagogy. भनेको क्रिटिकली लिने भनेको त आलोचना गर्ने भन्ने सेन्समा होइन कि थिंकिङ बियोन्ड द बक्स अलि फरक धारले हेर्ने फरक तरिकाले हेर्ने जस्तै हाम्रो हजुरबुवाले कुनै एउटा गाउँको एउटा गरामा आलु लगाउनु जौ लगाउनु हुन्थ्यो भने अब हामीले जौ नै लाउनु पर्छ भनेर गयौं भने त हामीले थिंकिङ बियोन्ड द बक्स हुँदै भएन के उसले ब्लाइन्डली हामीले ट्रेडिसनल तरिकाले गयौं होइन जौ होइन आलु लगाइ झन् बढी फल्छ क्या हो भने आलु लगायौं हामीले त्यहाँ क्रिटिकली सोच्यौं कि त्यहाँ थिंकिङ बियोन्ड द बक्स गर्यौं कि त्यहाँ हो त्यस्तो खालको तरिकाले जाने भन्ने सेन्समा सो क्रिटिकल पेडागोजी इज टेकन हेयर है म्याम
थ्यांक यू
म्याम यस
मिस्टर मनोज विक्रम बिस्ट
हे मनोज जी फ्रम बुटोल
from Butol, my respected person.
Thank you. Thank you, our founder of STFT, Bhupati Basel sir, and respected our trainer, my Guruj, MS Saud sir. Actually, my query is, sir, yes, I have taken the book that is written by our respected trainer sir, MS Saud, and everything that is given about the topic that we discussed before about the determiner and then parts of speech or everything that is given very clearly in the book. So I would like to request to all our friends or teachers to buy this book from the shop, then you will be clear cut and you will have clear cut ideas about that matter, about the adjective, adverb and determiners. So I am clear through this book that is written by MS sir. Regarding this today's topic, sir, actually, extra bit is given in each unit in our book. From the point of view, from the examination point of view in our book, extra bit, is it how it is necessary? This is my first query. Then another one is, can we ask in the examination the similar meaning or antonym in the examination paper? Sir, can we ask nowadays? The next one is, in our book, I have seen in the book, in our exercise, firstly, in first, second, and in third units, the reported speech is given. And I think in the 4th or 5th or in the 6th, in the later, the tense is given in our book. What I'm thinking that I think it would be better if the tense is given at first, then the reported speech. So my query is that curiosity, why the reported speech is given in the first 3 units, then the tense in later. This is my query, sir. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir, for your interesting questions. Actually, you asked very interesting question because you raised 3 questions here. One is, why is extra bit given at the end of each unit? This extra bit simply provides some extra information about the thing that the learners learn under each unit. That's why that can be that is useful information, that is necessary information. So this can be useful if they learn the same thing also, right? So that it is given here. That is one thing. And if it was not given, then there would not be any problem because curriculum does not say that extra bit should be given, but it is given, but it is fruitful. It is interesting as well, and it gives some extra information about the things that the learners learn under each unit. so that it is provided. That is one thing. Next is, can we ask synonym and antonym when we want to test vocabulary? Why not, sir? Because during actually summative evaluation, at the time of external evaluation, but grade 10 external evaluation is taken by the external bodies. But when we have to take internal question, right, for our own purpose during second term, first term examination here, in one passage, we can say that suppose there is one word, we can ask, find the word from the text which means this word. Then we are actually checking synonym, and find the word from the text which is opposite of this word. We are checking antonym. In this way, antonym and synonym can also be measured, means it can be used in the case of designing the question, because vocabulary should also be measured, tested, or assessed. Actually, next one, regarding the sequencing or organizing of the language items which are given in the textbook. The textbook is prepared on the basis of curriculum or the syllabus only. Curriculum is already prepared. So those who develop the curriculum has given reported speech under unit 1, then tense after some time. But tense is already given in previous courses. Reported speech is also already given in the previous courses. That's why this is not the new concept. If it was introduced for the first time, tense would be given first, then reported speech would be given second. That's why curriculum organizes the means those types of the grammatical items in this way. So the same thing is given in the textbook. So that textbook writers did not include those things themselves in this style, but curriculum prescribes this style. That's why they are given in this way, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, MS sir. And after then, my respected person, Lakshmi Prasad Sharma, you can unmute yourself and can ask your queries. Lakshmi Prasad Sharma.
Thank you very much, Bhupati sir. My first query about the grammar, sir, MS sir. Under the grammar section, there are two types of grammar items. One is reproduction type of grammar. The another one is situational grammar. In the previous class 10 and 9, reproduction type of grammar, that is the 1 mark question, and for the alter that choosing item, it was only 0.5. But this time, why there is the provision of 1 marks for the situational grammar also, that choosing item, and why there is 1 marks again for the reproduction? That is one question, sir.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, sir, for your query. Actually, in the case of evaluating grammatical portion, there is 11 marks out of 100 marks, and two types of test items are design, reproduction, and contextual text, that is multiple choice. And you asked that previously it was 0.5, 0.5. Now the full 1 marks. So there is no reason why it can be given in this way or in not in that way. But when we provide many items like that, then it can be difficult for the learners to understand passage also, to select a particular term also, right? And if we give 1 marks for solving one thing, then it can be easier for the learners also. Anyway, we have to judge the grammatical knowledge, right? So if they have learned accurately, whether we provide 1 marks if they solve 2, or we provide 1 marks if they solve 1, and it doesn't matter, sir. That's why there is no rule why it is even in this way or not in that way, sir. है त्यसको त्यो कुनै त्यस्तो रुल छैन. पहिला त्यसरी दिएको थियो, अहिले त्यसरी दिएको छ, तर यसरी दिएको भनेर चाहिँ यो कारणले गर्दा हो भन्ने खालको चाहिँ त्यस्तो केही नियम छैन, सर.
Thank you so much, MS Saud sir. Only two respected persons have raised their hands. Now, my respected teacher Manhari Ghimire, you can unmute yourself and ask your queries. Mr. Manhari Ghimire. Sorry, Mr. Puran Gurung Naul Prasi. Now you can unmute and ask your queries.
Okay. No,
Sir.
hello everyone. That means globalization, MS Salser, as you have already told. Chajalo, that means namaste in Gurung language. Being a Gurung from Changja and
Yes, sir.
Now from Nol Prachi. My query is, sir, see, there are 4 skills in language: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. But listening and speaking has only just 16 marks, 8 marks each. Then the problem is wherever we go, when we are communicating at the time, we don't read and write first. The topmost communicating tools or the skill is speaking or listening, but it has only 8 marks each, altogether 16 marks. Then how can we make or encourage our introduce our students to speak and to listen the text on the basis of context or imagination and so many things? Why the curriculum is designed just for 8 marks for listening and 8 marks for speaking? This is my question, sir. Please go on. I'm waiting.
Oh, Purul Gurung sir, very interesting question. Yes, so actually, your focus is that there is less focus on listening and speaking. There is more focus on reading and writing, right? We suppose that actually during the presentation in the classroom, learners take part in different kinds of the teaching learning activities. Learners are engaged and they are involved in speaking activities, and also when they are involved in speaking activities, they might also develop listening as well. So this listening and speaking occur during the academic year, but mostly reading and writing has to be judged finally. And actually, so these are not isolated. When we measure one skill, when you test one skill, another skill can also be tested, another skill can also be measured, right? So 2 or more than 2 skills can be tested together. And thinking that, so actually when we teach English from the beginning, all skills are actually measured, means they have been developed from grade 1 to grade 9, let's say, right? That's why in the case of other classes from grade 1 to 8, there is actually 50% internal assessment, only 50% external one. But in the case of grade 9 and 10 and 11, 12 as well, only 25% internal, then 75% external. So that's why, so there is much more focus on listening, speaking. That is one reason. Next is that if we followed communicative approach to language teaching, then there would be equal emphasis on all the 4 language skills. But communicative approach is no longer used nowadays. It has become outdated. We have to follow only content and language integrated learning, right? We have to teach content. Learners should be familiar with the content, and we develop the content, they have to develop the language. That's why listening, speaking, rather than listening, speaking, reading, writing are much more focused. So because of the guiding principle also, there is less focus, and because it is also taught and learned during the session academic year, that's why there is less focus. These are the 2 reasons, sir, as far as I know only. Hey, thank you, Guru sir.
Thank you. In the end, my respected teacher, Sri Ram Belvase, now you can unmute yourself and can ask your queries. Sri Ram Belvase.
योभन्दा पहिला मैले एक्चुअली सानो नोटिस भन्न चाहे सबै मेमहरु, यो के रे यो च्याटमा धेरै हाम्रो सर मेमहरुले चाहिँ त्यो स्लाइडलाई पठाइदिन रिक्वेस्ट गर्नुभएको छ। मसँग इमेल छैन, मसँग सबैको यहाँको इमेल भएको भए म सबैले एकैचोटी पठाइदिन्थे हैन। त्यसो भएकोले चाहिँ अब यहाँहरुले मेरो चाहिँ अब त्यो मोहन सिंह साउद भन्ने त्यो फेसबुक छ, त्यसबाट मेसेज गर्नु होला, इमेल यहाँले मलाई इनबक्समा पठाइदिनु होला, अथवा चाहिँ त्यो मेरो इमेल चाहिँ mssaud35 भन्ने हो, सबै स्मलमा छ, mssaud35@gmail.com भन्ने छ। हो त्यसबाट पनि तपाईले इमेल मलाई दिनुभयो भने म त्यसमा फरवर्ड गर्दिउँला, त्यसरी सजिलो होला। नभए चाहिँ हाम्रो एसटीएफ को चाहिँ हाम्रो सर मेमहरुले चाहिँ हाम्रो चाहिँ साथीहरुले यदि सबैको इमेल चाहिँ के रे कलेक्सन गर्नुभएको छ भने मलाई दिनुभयो भने एकमुष्ट रूपमा सबैलाई मलाई पठाउन सजिलो होला। म हिजो अस्तिको ग्रेड 5 को ग्रेड 8 को यो 10 को सबै पठाइदिउँला, किनभने इट इज फर शेयरिङ। मलाई राखेर यसको कामै छैन, अब यसबाट के नलेज गेन गर्ने भएकोले हैन, आइडिया शेयर गर्ने भएकोले यी कुराहरू भोलि चाहिँ अरू हाम्रा यहाँ पार्टिसिपेट नभएका साथीहरूलाई पनि त्यो कुरा सेयर गर्न यहाँलाई पनि त्यसले सहयोगी भूमिका खेल्यो भएकोले सो आई विल प्रोभाइड स्लाइड है यो च्याट बक्समा धेरै सरले चाहिँ यस्तो म्यामहरूले यो कुरा लेख्नु भएकोले मैले चाहिँ नोटिस गरेँ
थ्याङ्क यू सर सबैले सुन्नुभएको छ भने एमएस साउद सरलाई पनि सिधै कन्ट्याक्ट गरेर यो पाउन सक्नुभयो अनि एमएस साउद सरले यदि गोविन्द सरलाई हामीलाई उपलब्ध गराउनु भयो भने यहाँ मलाई पनि व्यक्तिगत रूपमा मेसेज गर्नु भएको छ हामी प्रोभाइड गर्छौँ र सरसँग सिधै पनि यहाँहरूले लिन सक्नुभयो बरु मैले सरलाई च्याटमा चाहिँ आफ्नो इमेल राखिदिन अनुरोध गर्छु सिधै हामीले एमएस सरलाई इमेल गऱ्यौँ भने सरले त्यहाँबाट फरवार्ड गरिदिनुहुन्छ इन द इन्ड मिस्टर श्रीराम बेलवासे सायद सरको नेट स्लो भयो होला मलाई सुनिँदैछ नि एमएस सर
सुन्दा सर मैले
उहाँको चाहिँ नेट स्लो भएछ सर अब ठिक छ अरू क्वेरीजहरू सकिए सर अगाडि बढौँ
यो मैले एमएस साउद अनि 35 यो 35 भने मेरो मोबाइलको लास्ट नम्बर हो अनि चाहिँ @gmail.com भनेर मैले च्याट बक्समा हालेँ यो सबैको चाहिँ एभ्रीवन भन्नेलाई गएन थाहा भएन है यो चाहिँ अनि त्यसबाट त्यो गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ अथवा चाहिँ यहाँले टिप्नु भयो भने म यहाँ चाहिँ च्याट बक्समा भएको सबै यहाँ चाहिँ त्यो के अरे म चाहिँ योबाट लिन सक्दैन यो इमेल हैन थुप्रो छ त्यो अगुले चाहिँ यो मेरो चाहिँ के अरे मेसेन्जरमा यहाँले
पठाइदिनु नलेख्नु होला एमएस सरले यहाँ एभ्रीवन गरेर इमेल पठाउनु भयो भने त्यही इमेलमा तपाईहरुले चाहिँ माग्नु होला धन्यवाद
हस् सर
के छ सकिएको सर आजलाई
यो चाहिँ करिब सकियो सर अब मैले चाहिँ खासै अब यही कुरा सेयर गर्न खोजेको हैन
धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद एमएस सर हाम्रो यो रिक्वेस्टलाई यहाँले चाहिँ धेरै धेरै सहयोग गर्नुभयो हामीले सम्झने समय आउँछ तसर्थ हामीले अत्यन्तै प्रविधि मैत्री शिक्षक समाजले यहाँलाई चाहिँ सम्झनेछ सम्झेको छ सम्मान व्यक्त गर्दछ र सरले 3 दिन आएर बडो मेहनतका साथ अहिले नयाँ करिकुलमको बारेमा जानकारी दिनुभयो सायद देशभरिका अंग्रेजी सरहरू यहाँ जोडिनु भएको थियो जोडिनु भएका सरहरूले पक्कै पनि लाभ लिनुभयो भन्ने हामी अपेक्षा गर्छौं र फेरि समय अनुसार यस्ता कार्यक्रमहरूले हामीले राख्ने नै छौं समय सन्दर्भ मिलाएर मैले फेरि पनि सूचना गरे धेरै सर म्यामहरुबाट यो अनलाइन सञ्चय कोष र नागरिक लगानी कोषको प्रविष्टि गर्ने तरिकाका बारेमा यो कक्षा राखिदिन अनुरोध गर्नुभएको हुनाले अरु विषयको चाहिँ प्रशिक्षकहरू यहाँ फिक्स नहुन्जेलको लागि हामीले ग्याप गर्दैनौं भोलि यो कक्षा हुनेछ तसर्थ यहाँहरु जोडिएर वा यो अनलाइन प्रविष्टि गर्ने काम हेड सरहरुको हो यहाँ कतिपय हेड सरहरु पनि हुनु होला यहाँहरुले आफ्नो हेड सरलाई भन्नु होला या हेड सर प्रविधिमा अलिकति चाहिँ अगाडि हुनुहुन्न भने तपाईहरु आफै उहाँलाई सिकाउनका निमित्त सबै जोडिएर चाहिँ सिक्न सक्नुहुन्छ यो हामीलाई उपयोगी नै छ र यो 3 दिनको सहजीकरणका लागि हार्दिक धन्यवाद ज्ञापन गरिदिनु हुन सरलाई म संस्थाका महासचिव देवी प्रसाद शर्मा सरलाई हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्दछु देवी सर
हजुर धन्यवाद सर आदरणीय अध्यक्षज्यू र हाम्रो अस्ति हिजो र आज 3 दिनसम्म अनवरत रूपमा यो आधारभूत तह र माध्यमिक तहको अंग्रेजी विषयको पाठ्यक्रम र मूल्याङ्कन सम्बन्धी अभिमुखीकरण गर्नुहुने आदरणीय गुरु मोहन सिंह साउद सर लगायत सम्पूर्ण संस्थाका अभियन्ताज्यूहरू र सम्पूर्ण सहभागी साथीहरू पक्कै पनि यो 3 दिनको बसाई अत्यन्तै उपलब्धिमूलक रह्यो भन्ने मैले विश्वास लिएको छु र यसरी हामीलाई आफ्नो व्यस्त समय उपलब्ध गराइदिएर हाम्रो एसटीएफटी का शुभचिन्तक साथीहरू एसटीएफलाई माया गर्ने देशभरका सम्पूर्ण शिक्षक साथीहरूलाई एउटा पाठ्यक्रम सम्बन्धी अत्यन्तै गहन तरिकाले अत्यन्तै सरल तरिकाले सहज तरिकाले जुन सहजीकरण गर्नुभयो जुन विषयवस्तुहरू पस्किनु भयो यसबाट हामी यहाँप्रति अत्यन्तै कृतज्ञ छौं यहाँलाई सम्मान व्यक्त गर्ने हामीसँग अहिले कुनै अब यो शब्दद्वारा हामीले व्यक्त गर्न सक्दैनौं र हामी संस्थाको तर्फबाट अत्यन्तै आभार व्यक्त गर्दछौँ आदरणीय सरलाई, मोहन सरलाई। त्यस्तै सम्पूर्ण सहभागी साथीहरू यो 3 दिनको बसाइबाट यहाँहरूले जे जति उपलब्धि हासिल गर्नुभएको छ, अब हामीले प्र्याक्टिस गर्ने, यसलाई कार्यान्वयन गर्ने हाम्रो कक्षाकोठा नै हो। हामीले हाम्रो मूल स्रोत भनेको पाठ्यक्रम हो। पाठ्यक्रम हामीले अध्ययन गऱ्यौँ भने हामीले धेरै कुराहरू त्यसबाट हासिल गर्न सकिन्छ र पाठ्यक्रमले सबै कुरालाई मार्गदर्शन गरेको छ, मूल्याङ्कन लगायतका कुराहरूलाई। र तथापि अझै पनि केही कुराहरू अस्पष्टता छन् भने यहाँहरू हाम्रो संस्थासँग जोडिएर विभिन्न जिज्ञासाहरू हामीलाई पठाउन सक्नुहुनेछ र हामीले मोहन सर लगायतका अब विशेषज्ञ सरहरूसँग परामर्श गरेर पनि यहाँहरूका जिज्ञासा कुनै माध्यमबाट हामीले मेटाउन प्रयास गर्ने नै छौँ। अब यो हाम्रो सिक्ने र सिकाउने एउटा अभियान हो र एसटिएफटी नेपालले एउटा प्लेटफर्म मात्रै उपलब्ध गराइदिएको हो र हाम्रो संस्थासँग प्रत्यक्ष अप्रत्यक्ष रूपमा जोडिएर साथीहरूले आफूले पनि एउटा ज्ञान हासिल गर्ने र आफूमा भएको ज्ञान पनि एकअर्कालाई एक्सचेन्ज गर्ने एउटा चाहिँ अवसरको रूपमा यसलाई लिइदिनुको लागि पनि मैले अनुरोध गर्दछु। र फेरि पनि म आदरणीय मोहन सिंह साउद सरलाई हार्दिक धन्यवाद व्यक्त गर्न चाहन्छु र सम्पूर्ण सहभागी साथीहरूलाई पनि म हार्दिक धन्यवाद व्यक्त गर्न चाहन्छु। धन्यवाद सर।
हस्, धन्यवाद महासचिवज्यू। मलाई मेसेन्जरमा म पनि एसटिएफटीमा जोडिन चाहन्छु भनेर हिजो अस्ति धेरै सर म्यामहरूले चाहिँ मेसेज गर्नुभएको रहेछ। हामीले कार्यक्रममा भनेका छौँ यदि हाम्रो प्रविधि मैत्री शिक्षक समाजमा यहाँहरू आबद्ध हुन चाहनुहुन्छ भने हाम्रो अनलाइनबाट तपाईँहरूले सदस्यता चाहिँ ग्रहण गरेर आफ्ना जिल्लाहरूमा तपाईँहरू नेतृत्वमा रहेर काम गर्न पनि सक्नुहुन्छ। हाम्रो चाहिँ केन्द्रीय भेलाहरूमा उपस्थित हुन सक्नुहुन्छ र अर्थुक नभए पनि हामी यो प्रविधि मैत्री बन्छौँ भनेर हाम्रो अभियानहरूमा चाहिँ जोडिन चाहनुहुन्छ, हामीले यो सदस्यता लिनुहोस्, हाम्रो संस्थाको चाहिँ सदस्य चाहिँ बनिदिनुहोस् भनेर यहाँहरूलाई नभनिराखेको अवस्थामा पनि यहाँहरू खोजेर आफैले चाहिँ त्यो चाहना व्यक्त गर्नुभएकोमा सबै चाहना व्यक्त गर्ने सरहरूलाई मैले मेसेन्जर मार्फत चाहिँ त्यो बन्ने तरिका पठाएको छु। र यदि कोही सरहरूलाई प्रविधि मैत्री शिक्षक समाजमा कसरी आबद्ध हुने, यसको सदस्यता कसरी ग्रहण गर्ने भन्ने कुराको चाहिँ जिज्ञासा लिन मन लाग्यो भने हामी आफूसँग चाहिँ तपाईँहरू सम्पर्कमा रहन सक्नुहुन्छ या हाम्रो होस्टमा रहेका सबै हाम्रो व्यक्तित्वहरू अरू पनि हुनुहुन्थ्यो होला, म यहाँ चाहिँ नाम हेरेर चाहिँ व्यवस्थापन गर्न सकिनँ, क्षमा चाहन्छु। मिस्टर देवी प्रसाद शर्मा, मिस्टर कृष्ण ढुङ्गाना, मिस्टर लालु चौधरी, मिस्टर लक्ष्मी प्रसाद लिम्बू, मिस्टर नारायण पौडेल, मिस्टर केशव कणेल, मिस्टर रूपेन्द्र प्रभावी, यहाँहरूसँग चाहिँ सम्पर्क गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ, म आफूसँग सम्पर्क गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ। त्योभन्दा पनि हाम्रो महासचिवज्यूको 9847755200 यो नम्बर तपाईँले टिपेर सिधै उहाँले नै त्यो काम गरिराख्नु भएको छ। सबै प्रक्रियाहरू उहाँले बताइदिनुहुनेछ। मैले यति कुरा जानकारी भोलिको कार्यक्रम त्यही समयमा हो भन्नुभएको छ। यहाँहरूले के जानिदिनु पर्यो भने अब प्रविधि मैत्री शिक्षक समाजले निरन्तर तालिम कार्यक्रमहरू चलाइरहेको छ, सहजीकरण कार्यक्रमहरू चलाइरहेको छ। साँझ 7:30 बजेदेखि केही न केही कार्यक्रम सुरु हुन्छ भनेर यही आइडी यही समयमा यदि समय परिवर्तन भयो भने त्यो स्लाइडमै आउनेछ, सूचनामै आउनेछ। तसर्थ यो च्याटमा चाहिँ यही समय हो भनेर चाहिँ सोध्नु भएको छ केही सर म्यामहरूले, यो हो र महासचिवज्यूले चाहिँ त्यो सूचना पनि राख्नु भएको छ। यदि यहाँहरूलाई चाहना छ भने हामीले चाहिँ यसलाई विज्ञापन गरेको नठान्नु होला। हाम्रो यो काम भनेको चाहिँ प्रविधिको हस्तान्तरण गर्ने हो। हामी सबै मिलेर अगाडि बढ्ने उद्देश्यले, एउटा पवित्र उद्देश्यले यो संस्था भर्खर विकसित गर्दैछौँ। देशभर यो संस्थालाई चाहिँ विकास गरेर स्थानीय तहसम्म पुर्याएर हामी स्थानीय तहहरूसँग समन्वय गरेर देशभर प्रविधिका चाहिँ यी सिपहरूलाई हस्तान्तरण गर्ने यो महान अभियान हो। सरिक भएर सिकिदिनु भएकोमा हाम्रा कार्यक्रमहरू जोडिएर माया अब एसटिएफटीलाई धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद भनिराख्नु भएको छ। हामी पनि यहाँहरूप्रति आभारी छौँ। अब समय गइसकेको छ, सायद यहाँहरू खाना बाँकी नै हुनुहुन्छ। अब कति पनि समय चाहिँ व्यतीत नगरिकन म आजको यो कार्यक्रमको अध्यक्षता गर्नुभएका प्रविधि मैत्री शिक्षक समाज नेपाल गण्डकी प्रदेश अध्यक्ष आदरणीय नारायण पौडेल सरलाई म आजको यो कार्यक्रम अन्त्य गरिदिनु हुन हार्दिक अनुरोध गर्दछु।
जुन 3 दिनसम्म हामीलाई उपस्थित भएर यो साँझसम्म
सर हजुरको आवाज क्लियर छैन, सरले माइक्रोफोन प्रयोग गर्नु भएको छ?
छैन सर, आवाज
अहिले बल्ल क्लियर, अहिले बल्ल क्लियर आएको
ओके
छ
ओके सर। सो अब सरलाई चाहिँ धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद र मलाई आज चाहिँ अध्यक्षता गर्ने एउटा चाहिँ मौका दिनुभयो र विशेष गरी मसँग त शब्दै छैन। I don't have words to thank Mohan sir for the time and effort you put into sharing us different idea about a new curriculum and teaching English language in classroom. अब मलाई चाहिँ के भन्न मन लाग्यो भने यो टिप्याकको कुरा गर्नुभयो सरले, बडो मजा लाग्यो। हामी टेक्नोलोजी एसटिएफसीले टेक्नोलोजीको कुरालाई बोकेर हिँडिरहेका छौँ, सँगसँगै पेडागोजीका कुरा पनि मोहन सरलाई जोडेर हामीले आज पेडागोजीका कुराहरू पनि गर्यौँ। अब कन्टेन्ट त यहाँ उपस्थित सबै सरहरू आफै कन्टेन्टफुल हुनुहुन्छ। यस्ता क्रियाकलापहरूमा हामीले निरन्तर जोडिन पाएका छौँ र विषयगत रूपबाट पनि हामीले धेरै कुरा सिक्न पाएका छौँ। म एकदमै धेरै धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु मोहन सरलाई। फेरि आगामी दिनहरूमा साथीहरूको यस्तै क्वेरिजहरू अब यस्तै हामीलाई चाहिँ माग भयो भने फेरि सरलाई हामीले चाहिँ अनुरोध गर्दाखेरि सर फेरि पनि गाह्रो अप्ठ्यारो परेको बेलामा सिकाउन केही ज्ञानको सेयरिङ गर्न आउनुहुनेछ भन्ने अपेक्षा गर्दै म र सिङ्गो संस्थाको तर्फबाट सरलाई मुरी धन्यवाद दिँदै आजको यो कार्यक्रम यही अन्त्य भएको जानकारी गराउँछु। धन्यवाद।
हस्, धेरै धेरै धन्यवाद आदरणीय सर। यतिन्जेलसम्म यहाँहरूलाई हामीले अलिकति यो मानहानि पनि गरेका छौँ। म क्षमा चाहन्छु, किनभने यो जुम मिटिङमा हाम्रो दोहोरो अन्तर्क्रिया